And buenas tardes, good evening, everyone. May 7th, 2026, just past 6 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. Eastern. What's the Scoop is back on another Thursday night. Myself here, Scoop, with my buddy Brandon. And we're going to get into a lot of topics today. Obviously, we alluded to it last night and talked a little bit about it. The first thing that we will cover today is, of course, the recent passing on Monday of Yankees radio legend John Sterling at the age of 87 from recent health complications. And as I alluded to last night, we were potentially going to have a little bit of an expanded show today with a familiar face in the family who wanted to be a part of the memoriam to John Sterling as well, a fellow Yankee fan, a brother of the show. Let's see if we can get our guy in.
Hey, my people. How we doing?
Jay, great to have you back. Obviously, under bittersweet circumstances, but we were excited to have you back. That we've been trying to make it work for some time now, and so excited to have you back on tonight. What jersey are you rocking? Was that Clemens? I couldn't tell.
Yeah, it was the Clemens 9 when he first signed over. He had number 12 because
number 12,
number 21 for such a long time. Yeah, Paul O'Neill was number 21 when he came over to the Yankees. So it's really funny. I had to explain to so many people that this is not a bootleg jersey for Clemens. He actually did wear number 12 at one point.
He wore 12, and then he wore, 22, I think is what he wore for the rest of the career.
22, yeah, and 22. That's why one of the reasons number 22 is my lucky number is that, he was one of the guys that I loved, and he used to wear it. It was him, again, 22 is a good number for me, like for him, McCutchen.
22 is such a polarized number in terms of guys who have worn it with the Yankees. You've got your Juan Soto's and your of the world. And then you got your Jacoby Ellsbury.
Ben Rice now.
Pardon?
Ben Rice
now.
I was going to say Ben Rice, but for some reason I hedged on if he wore 22 or 24. But so glad.
And of course, Yankee legend Greg Allen.
Oh yeah, I forgot about it. I forgot that he wore it.
And Jordan
Greg Allen. I didn't forget about Greg Allen. I just forgot that he wore 22.
Yeah.
No, man. But it's so great to be back, guys. Obviously I'm saying the prodigal son has returned, but I mean, honestly, it's just a privilege to be back.
Yeah, and
don't bow down to me, man. I got enough favors to call in with God, Brandon. So don't be bowing down and think
that's
I'm a false idol. He already knows that I am.
And the only one of the three of us who could pull off indoor sunglasses to start the show.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Well, when the sun finally sets, I'll probably take them off. But had to make a.
Yeah, no, that's fair. It's not been sunny down here on the Gulf Coast. It's mostly been tornadoes the past 36 hours. So,
be safe.
But we got through last night. We're gonna get through tonight, and again, very excited and glad to have you back on, man. Thanks for joining us tonight.
Thanks, man.
And of course, kicking it back up to this is working today. My right side here, my buddy Brandon. Brandon. Long 17 hours no see. How you doing, buddy?
Yeah. Doing the same as yesterday. Doing fine. Happy to have Jay back. Happy to, be able to listen. I know it's only been 17 hours, but every day that you get to, breathe again, get to talk sports again,
absolutely,
get to live again.
Every day above ground is a privilege.
Absolutely. And thanks, Rob, for jumping on so we can address, bring attention to our friends over at Lion Coffee. We've got our buddy, Mr. Wiltsey, in the chat saying aloha, boys. And yes, for all your sports-infused and otherwise coffee needs, we've got Lion Coffee based out of Hawaii, and they've got everything from... They talk about the grounds coffee from whether it was, I think the flavors were vanilla macadamia, if I have that correct, and so many others. And they apparently are starting to come out with pods as well. So looking forward to seeing all of that. That we've already gotten some of that to try as well. And it's been very helpful for all of us, especially getting through the recent NFL draft frenzy. So thank you for all your support, Mr. Wiltsey, and thanks for tuning in once again, and hope all is well out there, and looking forward to, as we always say, getting in for a hopefully a golf run at some point out there in your neck of the woods. And with that, also wanted to address, she was in the comments a little while ago. Just wanted to address Nikki. She tuned in and said, "Hey y'all," and she said he's back. One of many of our regular viewers who I know will be excited to see Jay's excited and very passionate mannerisms today about everything.
I'm surprised she's that excited to see me again.
We're all excited to see you again, buddy. And he's code. There was a code that was just up there. I didn't get a chance to read it in time. There we go.
There you go.
Code Patrick Tan for 10% off at www.hawaiicoffeecompany.com. And again, I don't know how long it's going to take me to try every single one, but I'm determined to do so. And I'm very excited to see where else they go from here, and to get my hands on some of those pods very soon. He says, "Stay caffeinated, my friends." Mr. Wiltsey, it is a Thursday afternoon, and it's the second show in 2 days. I promise you that is very much the case right now. I am well caffeinated and ready to go. And with that, we'll pick up from where we left off last evening, I think. And just, again, the news from earlier this week, the passing at the age of 87 of Yankees radio legend John Sterling, the tributes that came out on Monday, that after retiring in 2024, he had been dealing with and what ultimately resulted in CHF, and passed early on Monday morning. And all across the league, there have been tributes coming out the last couple of days. There's been different teams from not just obviously the Yankees, but the Atlanta Braves, the New York Mets, teams across baseball have been doing different things to honor him. And Phillies, with Don Mattingly now there as manager. Obviously, the Yankee connections there go way back. So there's been a lot of extremely meaningful and just very appreciated source of shows of respect from different teams and personnel throughout Major League Baseball. But I thought that on the heels of yesterday, Jay, I'll give you the floor first and foremost, and then I thought after that we've been kind of incorporating this sort of Mount Rushmore thing over the last couple of weeks. But I thought maybe today's version of it, we could talk about some of our favorite John Sterling memories, some of our favorite John Sterling home run calls in particular, because I know we've all got some of those that stick out to us from our time rooting for the Yankees and listening to him. So I'll give you open floor, and then we'll pivot into some of that after the fact.
Yeah, so I think one of the things that makes us all three of us friends here is that we have like a zeal for media, and we have a zeal for broadcasting in some way. That for me goes way back into my childhood. My mom actually was an intern at WBLS here in New York. She treated me at 15. Yeah. And she was fantastic at it. She definitely knows how to talk better than me. I'll tell you that much. And that's where I get from. I feel like that's where I at least halfway get it from. I've had a lot of time listening to some of the broadcast journalism greats. I'm talking about John Sterling. For me, I wanted to do talk radio at one point, so I used to listen to Curtis Sliwa and Ron Kuby on WABC in the morning.
Curtis Sliwa. That's not the same Curtis Sliwa who ran for office 2 years ago, was it?
It's the very same. It's the very same. I even used to wear a beret too, because he was in the ads that I used to see. And I'm just like, I want to do radio. Peter Jennings, of course, for me will always be the gold standard. I wanted at this point in my life to be on ABC Nightly. We are where we are, and I'm in a lesser profession in terms of law. But honestly, and I was thinking about posting about like a kid listening to the radio and listening to with a picture of John Sterling right above it. I think, I forgot who said it, of all people, and I do mean of all people, Eric Adams posted a tweet about how there was some kid somewhere tuned into the radio listening to John Sterling writing down in his scorebook, which you just don't see anymore. And that is a kid who got brought into baseball, or even further brought into baseball, because of John Sterling. I wish it had come from a different source, but he's right. And I was one of those kids. I'm a Yankee fan, thanks to my father. I used to listen to the Yankees when the TV wasn't available. Obviously, we didn't have Yes Network for the entire time that I've been alive, not to date myself. But I started tuning in 1998 when we had I was privileged to start tuning into the Yankees. The best to tune into the Yankees. And John Sterling was right there. John Sterling, I like to call him Grandpa John because, we all talk about dad jokes. Yeah, well, I mean, he had granddad jokes. If you and I know a lot of people had a problem with a lot of his puns, like a lot of people had a problem with Giancarlo non si può stapparlo, and they even questioned whether or not that was real Italian. It was. My thing is, if you ever had a problem with John Sterling, you don't have dad issues. You got granddad issues. John Sterling was gold standard for this generation. It's a testament to him that he almost never missed a day of work. He had to get sick to miss a day of work. That is my man. And, I can't say anymore before I turn it over that there is a freaking awesome broadcast going on in heaven right now with him, Vin Scully, Harry Carey, and Harry Kalas from Philadelphia. Man, whether you're millennials or Gen Z right now, and of course, the era that Sterling broadcasted, how blessed are we that we had so much overlap in one of the greatest vocal cords this generation will ever flipping hear. I'm so happy that I got to live through that. And Grandpa John, thanks, brother.
You put that so well, and I'm really,
thank you.
Immense respect.
As well as he would have. I only wish he could do it himself.
Yeah. Absolutely. And I think that's a lot of the irony of it is that's, no one would have put it better than he himself could have. And I think that but again, I appreciate the stuff that you were sharing about, yourself growing up and, your mom as well. That was something that we've talked about your family quite a bit. That's actually something I did not know. But just, I think that's one of the things you mentioned guys like Vin Scully. We talked about him last night, but you also went into other guys like Harry Carey and I think that that's the way that these guys, that their legacies endure, is by continuing to make sure that, our viewers and whatnot, but also, when and if we're blessed to have families of our own, start families of our own, they and, the future generations are kept very well equipped with the knowledge and understanding and appreciation for what the history behind those people were, because you couldn't really tell the story. They talk about in the Hall of Fame. I think Brandon's the one who actually said this at one point. Can you tell the story of a sport without that person? You're not telling the story of the '90s Yankees dynasty into the core 4 years. You're not telling that story without getting to John Sterling and getting into him pretty early on in that conversation.
Mm-hmm.
So, Jay, thank you for all of that. And Brandon, I'll kick it over to you if you had anything you wanted to. I know we talked quite a bit yesterday, but if you wanted to spin off of that in any particular way, and then I thought it'd be fun to get into those that kind of discussion about the home run calls and whatnot.
Yeah, I said everything I had to almost yesterday, but it's not even just the story of the dynasty Yankees. It's just you can't tell the story of baseball without John Sterling.
Truly.
And it's when you're the soundtrack to not just one generation, but to multiple generations of Yankee fans, and especially because of how global, like I said yesterday, how global the Yankees brand is. it's your voice is just synonymous with that, especially during that era of dominance. So
Absolutely.
it's like there's so many things that you kind of can like look back at a certain point in time and like you hear like, or you'll see a certain moment and you can instantly remember the calls, like that was John Sterling. But I'll Bernie, I forget what Bernie Williams had said yesterday, but Bernie had a not yesterday, a couple days ago. He had said, after John had passed, that he said that he literally truly could not be more honored that he was the first home run call of that kind from by John Sterling, and that
Yeah.
hearing "Burn Baby Burn" for the
Yeah.
first time was
Yeah.
was awesome.
That was
And
my first time. Yeah.
it's I like, of course, I wish I could have been alive for that, but at the same time, I can even say, I got to see John Sterling live. Even I didn't mention this last night, but I went to Old Timers Day 2 or 3 times, and he's the MC along with Michael K. So
Right.
I got to actually see him speak live, through a microphone. So it's one of those things where I always thought, and it's crazy because they would show like whatever former Yankee was being announced in that moment that would come onto the field, and it would show highlights of their playing career. And when it got to some of the guys from the '90s Yankees, and it was like hearing John Sterling, read off like their list of accomplishments along with some of their most famous moments that are flashing across the video board. It was like
Yes.
you were transported back in time.
Oh yeah.
And it's one of those things where it's like, even though I wasn't, or Scoop, you and I weren't around for that, it was, you almost feel like you're there, even though you're not. And when someone's voice has the power to transcend a simple baseball game or a simple sport, that that shows you the kind of legacy and impact that they have and the kind of outreach that they have. So
Really.
it's just insane to think about all the things that you could, there's so many things you can mention with John Sterling, between just the kind of person he was, the kind of, you know, announcer he was, his quote unquote like Sterlingisms.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, we talk about, everybody like loves to talk about, like, like the yogiisms that Yogi would
Yeah.
have for certain things.
Yeah.
Sterling had some of his own. I mean, we always
Oh, truly.
and really
Yeah.
the last this whole series against the Rangers, between them basically blowing out the Rangers and then losing yesterday, kind of getting roughed up, and then winning again today, and
Right.
under every single post game thing, I see at least a handful of people immediately right after that post goes up, they're saying, "Well, that's baseball, Susan."
Yep.
So
Yeah.
that's when when you have that, and people can kind of use that as a way to, like, because it's true in that moment that, hey, that's the way the game just unfolded tonight, that's baseball, Susan. But also with the context around it of obviously what just happened, it just shows how many people John Sterling touched too. That's just one of the many things that he's remembered for. And it's really,
They yelled it during the moment of silence at Yankee Stadium.
yeah, they did. They did.
I'm just saying, that ain't
I
even.
mean-
Yeah, I respect that. That does not count as a break of the moment of silence.
Well,
but
no,
No.
yeah. The best, I loved basically during the whole first game after he passed. And I knew it was going to happen eventually. But I was just waiting to hear it because I was at work at the time, and I was waiting to hear it because I'm watching the game on my phone. My job doesn't care if I'm on my phone watching the game. They because they know I do my job anyway. They don't care.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I'm listening to the game obviously through the Yes broadcast, and I'm waiting for the Bleacher Creatures to get to the end of roll call.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to hear John Sterling. So, and when they did it, I was like, thank God they did it. I was like,
Oh,
because
yeah.
I was just waiting for that. And the thing is, it was an awesome moment. And of course, they made note of it on the broadcast. Like, doing the name that Yankee, and that was John Sterling. Doing basically a whole kind of in memoriam to him, but also celebrating him in so many different ways during the broadcast.
Yeah.
was awesome, and of course to really beat down on your opponent also was awesome. So it's really really just like we're only a couple of days removed from it, but it's great that people are treating us like, yeah, it's a sad thing, but we also realize how much of an impact he had, how much of a full life he lived, and how much kind of life he gave to the Yankees universe, and it seems like it's more of a celebration of life than a somber remembering of his passing.
Right.
So that's what I like, is that there's a lot of positives that come out of this on the other side of this, and that's the one thing I think I take away the most, is how much love there is rather than sadness and anger and hate and all that stuff. So it's incredible. So
without a doubt.
Absolutely. And I think also sorry, did something cut out?
I don't think so.
Okay, I couldn't tell what just happened there. There was a bug in the audio.
No, you guys can still hear me too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, good.
Okay, I don't know what that was, but no, I think that you definitely hit not only what I think was most appropriate for him, but also just the fact that I think that they knew that that's how John would have wanted to be remembered.
Mhm.
He was always about trying to, and we talked yesterday. I mean, if he had something to say, he would say it.
Yeah.
But he also was always he tried to keep that sort of positive, that the way I described it was kind of like that sort of like childlike or youthful, like sort of optimism and energy. Right down to the last time that he did the Yankees win call back in 2024, and I mean, they didn't win that World Series, but the fact that he got to be there while they went back to the World Series for the first time in 15 years.
Yeah.
Jay, you cut out again.
I didn't say anything.
Oh, sorry. I don't know. The audio is bugging out. But
no. You're good. I just said yeah.
Okay. But yeah, I mean, you talked about Brandon. You mentioned I don't remember what you call them, the Sterlingisms, I think is how you phrased it. But I mean, we go back. You've watched the Yankees for about 20 years. I've watched the Yankees for close to 20 years. Jay, I'm not going to put an exact number on it for you, but I'm guessing it's above that.
About maybe 28 years, because I think I started watching in 98, and I'm 33 years old. So I always say that 96 is the only World Series that I haven't seen, because while I was alive, I couldn't perceive it. So I can't really say that I saw it.
That's like me in 20. Like I was born in 2000, but I didn't like. Again, I was 2 months old when they won that World Series. That
was good. Before you get to the end scoop, only because I want to give you time to think about it, because I feel like we've talked about this before. For each one of us, I feel like we should think, what would be Sterling's home run call for us? Even me, who figures himself to be a pitcher, by the way. But you guys we can answer that after scoop is done.
Interesting. And another question, because that actually is kind of, because the question that a question that I was going to use to follow up was obviously we all heard, and we'll talk about this in a little bit, the big announcement today that has been kind of forthcoming for what seemed like a while, and finally arrived today. The Yankees calling up top prospect Spencer Jones. I thought that would be kind of fun to kind of just think about some of the things that may have worked, that he may have thought of as that type of home run call for him. I was very curious when I saw him called up at what John's call would have been for him. But no, just thinking back into the home run calls that I think of most from when I was younger, A-bomb from A-Rod obviously has to be up there, if not at the top, near the top. I think That's right up there. Mark sends a text message was definitely up there.
It was funny that was a combo one too, because
Yeah.
he said you're on the mark to Shara.
That's a good point. I
Yeah.
blanked on that second part. And then this, he wasn't here for all that long, but one that I really appreciated and always thought was funny was when we had former Padres infielder Chase Headley. You can bank on Chase was always one that I really enjoyed.
That was a good one.
Yeah.
I love that.
And then probably my favorite one of the current guys on the roster, and maybe it's just partly because obviously I'm Italian, but Giancarlo No Si Può Stopparlo is one that is always one of my favorites to hear him do. But like, I mean, obviously we could go back and talk about so many players over the last 30 years, but those were definitely some of my favorites. And is that, I don't know what happened there, but yeah. Did I miss any, Jay, that you were thinking of?
Not for home run calls. It's when he was like serenading Tanaka with.
Yeah.
Will come out, Tanaka. I'm just like, oh
Yeah.
man,
I forgot
silky
about that.
smooth velvet voice, man.
Oh,
And for
man.
a pitcher, obviously the pitcher's not in the American League hitting a home run, but I love the fact that he did that. I don't know if Derek Cole had one either, but oh my, it was wonderful, man.
That's greatness.
Things like that just show the creative broadcast mind. It shows that, listen, this isn't just a guy talking into a microphone at his convenience. You know, you got to keep the audience engaged. And boy, Grandpa John sure did that. I cried, guys. I'm not going to lie. I cried as if, you know, I lost my own grandpa. God forbid.
Yeah.
And I mean on my mother's side. But yeah, man, I ain't going to make them. I only hope. I was going to say that they don't make him like that anymore. I feel like he actually did his job to make sure that they did make them like that going forward.
Yeah.
You know, John Sterling is a guy who, you know, he existed. He lived not for himself, or just not for himself. To know he lived to make sure that we all got brought into the game and we carried that game on. Can't say it anymore. Can't.
You nailed that so well. And
yeah, why do you think I'm wearing the sunglasses, man? I'm in mourning at this point.
No, very understand. I mean, the people who watch or either were on or watched this show yesterday remember that I was at about, you know, I had been talking for a couple minutes, and like you could hear my voice. It just start to just go at the end of that, and it's just, you know, it's and it's like I said, you know, it's we've talked at times about like, oh, there was a great, you know, a baseball great who passed away that like he was a legend, but like we knew of him from history, but we never like got to see him, or like, you know, somebody who like, you know, by name from history, but like somebody who literally permeated through our pretty much entire time as Yankees fans, and like the amount of memories just are endless, from which, you know, whether it was you know, Brandon, you talked about yesterday, the amount of times where, you know, my mom and I will do, or even, you know, or whether it was my mom and I, or you know, my whole family or whatever, doing road trips. Because again, I grew up in upstate New York. So whenever we would do a road trip, either to or near New York City, or down the tri-state area through, you know, Philly, because I've been there 1,000 times. If there was a game on WFAN, I don't care what else was on, WFAN was going to be on from first pitch until the end. And that wasn't just a me thing. My mom, same thing. My mom wanted to listen to that game just as much as I did. And my dad wanted to listen to them too, but as a Boston fan, he wanted a bit of a different outcome. But shout out my father. But it just, I love seeing the respect that he gets from not just Yankees fans, because again, you see on X a lot of times these people or these teams will say basically, this team our team remembers this guy, this individual or this woman, and sends our thoughts and our prayers to his family. It's very organizational based. You've had a serious impact when other teams are starting to, and players from other teams and execs from other teams are having things to say as well. And I just think that says a lot. And I did see the message. Thank you for putting that up. Shout out and a big hello to our friend Christina, who jumped in on the comments real quick. Also, I hope I get this right. I believe this is her 5-year anniversary with her now husband. So congratulations to them as well. If I'm remembering that correctly, I hope. But congratulations to Christina and her now husband, Michael Palmerson. So, but yeah, guys, if there's anything you guys wanted to, especially Jay, since you weren't here yesterday, does anything you guys want to take forward from this to kind of do the full close? Because I know that the three of us could talk about John all night long.
What calls did you mention? So you mentioned Teixeira.
I mentioned Teixeira. I mentioned Chase Headley. I mentioned A-Rod, and I mentioned Giancarlo.
Yeah, because the few that stand out in my mind, for me, like, because Tex and A-Rod were instant. Those are the ones that came to my mind immediately.
Yeah.
But the very first one that came to my mind, like the second you said, hey, what are some of our favorite calls?
Yes.
The first one that came to my mind was Curtis Granderson, the Granny Man.
That was the only one that I had been thinking. Well, I just spilled water all over my computer. That was the only thing that was the only one that I didn't mention that I had been thinking of. I don't know why. I don't know why I didn't name that one, but yeah, the Granny Man.
That was one I liked. Of course, people forget about this one just because obviously his time in New York ended bitterly, but he is a Yankee legend. But Robbie Cano, don't you know? Like that's that to me that's
I shouldn't have forgotten that one. That's not good that I forgot.
It's short, but it was sweet. I liked it.
Yeah.
But and then the two others I was thinking of is obviously because we all think about how good he was in 2009, but at the same time, we don't think about how good his Yankee career was as a whole. And of course, that's Matsui, A Thriller by Godzilla. So that was one I loved.
That one completely shorted my mind. I'm not gonna lie.
But I think the one that will always stick in my mind, well, because it came so late in his career, is Judge's 60-second home run against the Rangers. And because that one, the whole lead up, that whole at bat was great. But of course, he says as usual, all rise, here comes the judge. And then he says, this is Judgment Day, case closed. And so that was, the whole kind of like, what was it? I think like 3 lines he said about it as Judge was rounding the bases. But that part of it, I was like, there's so many calls. I mean, everybody's gonna, especially if you're older, you're gonna remember Burn Baby Burn because that was the first one. But like, if it's, there's so many different guys in there. I can't even remember. Like, I have to go back. I had to it's crazy because, and what kind of stinks is they have some of the most obvious calls when they have his top. I think it's like top 10 home run calls. I think they have that on YouTube, but it's all the obvious ones you think of. I cannot believe how hard it was to find some of these. Like, I had to remember them just by memory because I'm like, why aren't these calls readily available on the internet? I don't know why.
I knew I forgot one. Like a Good Gleyber Torres is there. That was a good one.
Yeah.
Like a Good Gleyber Torres is there.
Like,
also, like the most creative ones, even for the ones you didn't think he would have a home run call, like Tyro Estrada. Tyro hits one to Cairo, and I'm like,
yeah,
that one's good.
I straight up don't remember that. I'll be honest.
With McCutcheon, Cutch in the clutch. Yeah. I think he said. I think that was what was.
You went into some deep cuts there. Wow.
There was a decent one for Luke Voigt. All he said was Voigt is a droid.
Or Voigt hit once to Beloit.
Yeah. Because the thing is, I had to look up what a droid meant, and the thing is, it makes sense in the context. A droid means you're good with your hands, so that made sense. So
If we want to go back to like old time, it's not technically old time compared to like some of the other calls, but like old time considering the fact that you and I are in our mid-20s. The Bam Tino for Tino Martinez, that's another one.
Or even for Giambi, because he kind of repackaged it and used it as the Giambino.
Okay, I didn't remember the Giambi call, but no, they're just
Father.
Yeah, that's I still every time anytime that Todd Frazier pops up on my screen, I'm like, hey, it's the Todd Father.
Yep.
Like
we don't know if he got one for Doug Mankiewicz, did he?
Oh, I don't know.
Did Doug Mankiewicz have a home run with us?
I want to Google it now.
That was such a deep cut pull. Oh my god,
man! I'm old, yo. I'm old. I have nothing but free time right now.
You need to play Immaculate Grid more.
Do you think?
No, I need to play Immaculate Grid more, and I need to cheat on it less.
I mean, do you think that he had one for Chuck Knobloch? Because I'm
pretty sure he did. I don't know that. Oh man, I should. Out of all three of us, I should know that one.
Like what? Or did he have one for?
Yeah, he said. Apparently his was Chucky Goes Yard.
Wow.
And there's one. I don't know if this is real or not, but it says it's another knob polisher. I'm just saying what this list is saying.
No, it's very interesting. I really hope Don didn't say that one.
He has to have one for the last Yankee pitcher to have had a home run. That's IKF.
What is
that sentence? Just does not compute at all. And I loved IKF.
Remember IKF? Well, he was listed. IKF listed as a pitcher. He's not, obviously. We know who IKF is. Lindy McDaniel's the last Yankee pitcher to have a home run, and he wasn't broadcasting for us back then. So,
I just remembered one now, and all it is one. It's not even a word. It's something he made up, but it's just a one word call, and it's obviously for a Yankee favorite, Swishalicious. That one.
For some reason I don't remember that one.
I like that one.
I don't either. It's just so good.
It is. Swisher was also my mom's favorite player when he was here. Nick Swisher.
We've also got the two for Brett Gardner, which is it's a Gardy party, and Gardy goes Yardy.
And Gardner plants one.
Yeah, I was gonna say the one that I remember was Gardner plants one.
Yeah, and of course
talk about a guy. Talk about you do what you love, you'll never work a day in your life. Man.
Yep,
exactly.
No wonder he showed up until they had to put him in a hospital.
Like, you know what? Like I've thought about a couple, and sometimes I even forgot. I just because I couldn't think of like certain players throughout our history that had good ones, but I forgot because I Reddit, the Yankees subreddit, basically had a whole thing of like, hey, what were some of your favorite John Sterling calls? Someone said that a couple people said this one. Higashioka, the home run stroker.
That's a good one.
That was a good one. Where is it? The Milkman delivers for Melky.
I would not have remembered that one.
I used to quote that when I was like little, but I just forgot about it over the years.
I have no memory of this one. El Come Dulce, Bobby Abreu is as sweet as candy.
I kind of remember that one.
I have no memory of that one at all.
But there's and of course he wasn't here that long, but Jan Hervis Solarte. He had the never nervous Jan Hervis.
Oh man! Oh, that was the most random breakout. Like went nuclear for half of a season ever.
Yeah. It's certain. Like I want to. Like I'm trying to think back in my mind. I know we could be here all night talking about the calls, but I'm trying to think back in my mind like some of the most obscure Yankees, and if they hit a home run, like didn't Ronald Torreyes hit one and he called him terrific or something like that. I think that might have been one because Torreyes didn't hit many home runs. He hit like 2 in his Yankees career.
Torreyes is terrific. Bonnie Ronnie. What?
Did Brian McCann have one?
Had to have.
I was gonna say, well, I just remembered one because he wasn't here long. Backup catcher, Romy, my homie. That was a good one.
You guys thought about what it would be for you guys? I know if I ever made it to the major leagues, what it would be for me.
I'm curious.
Kruger, the pitcher's nightmare on 161st Street.
Oh, that's awesome.
There's absolutely no way that I can. There's absolutely no way I can follow that one up. Oh my god.
Oh my god.
I could have sworn I've told you guys that one before. I'm not trying to be even self-serving either.
I have. I don't remember that one, but that is so good.
I mean, I haven't even thought about it, honestly. But your last name makes it so easy. Like it just makes it so easy. It's like I can't think. I can't even. I mean, there's got to be one that we could think of for Scoop, because Scoop, that right there is already, you already have something we can play off of, with just your nickname.
I thought we would use well, either that or you would use Wood out of my last name.
Oh yeah.
I was about to say Ryan brings the wood. or if he knew, he's like, Ryan's got wood. You know he would do it too. He would know.
Anyway, so Josh Patika came in.
One in the left or right?
Don't pronounce it like that, Scoop. That's Josh. That's TCA.
Sorry, Josh B.
Josh man.
There you go.
Josh B. from the company or Jace. So, how you doing, Josh? Good to see you, and thanks for tuning in tonight. No, you know what? This is wild to me. I just realized we've done this whole thing, and not one of us has mentioned Derek Jeter.
Oh yeah. Because his was just short. His was just short and sweet. You would figure that it would be somebody, like when it comes to like a lot of Jeter's moments, he didn't really have like calls for. El Capitan, but like, he didn't have. It wasn't like he had a like really, I guess, like great calls for Jeter, which is I think kind of weird.
Yeah, no, but it's also like, I think also some of it is just you don't typically think of Jeter as a home run hitter, which is a little bit unfair because he did hit 260 of them.
Yeah,
but I mean, obviously he's much more known for his speed and his contact hitting. But
you know what I'm thinking of? Does this one work for me? If I'm thinking of a home run call, just because it's short and sweet.
And then he
cut out. How dare it cut out?
Because I was about to say, you just leave. That's it.
that was the craziest timing.
Yeah, I love how Restream always screws me over. But anyway, if this won't interrupt me, damn it. Furtado hits the lotto.
I love that. That was good.
Yeah.
I was gonna make it stretch and say it's a Tato Tater. But yeah,
that could work though.
See, and my brain was going in the direction of doing something with Marlon Brando off your name, Brandon.
That it could work. Listen, mine could work. I'll take whatever I can get.
An offer. The bleachers can't refuse.
I kind of like that.
That ball is sleeping with the fishes.
Oh. No, I'm not going to law, guys. I think I gotta get this.
I love it.
I have more free range on this show than I would have in any other courtroom.
I mean, you're not wrong.
Yeah.
That's what. Yeah, Jody brings up a good point. Why is not John? Or I guess why is John not in the Hall of Fame?
I think it's because he only stopped broadcasting 2 years ago.
Yeah.
I don't know if the 5-year requirement is on.
Yeah, well, that's what I was just wondering. Is I don't know if the 5-year requirement also, because if so, he only retired in 2024.
We all know he's gonna be at Monument Park. We know that.
Oh yeah.
Straight. But I think that's going to be the first because I believe, I don't know if I'm right. I think the Mets have retired a microphone. I'm pretty sure the Phillies have.
I'm pretty sure the Indians did.
Yeah, and of course the Dodgers because well
yeah,
deserved because of yeah. He should be.
Brewers,
When Susan said that, I hope they wear the armbands. I'm like, fuck the armbands. I want them to run a patch for the rest of the season.
Rob. Who was the one the Mariners retired? Because Rob said the Mariners did.
Yeah. Did the Brewers? I feel like they might have for Bob Uecker.
They should.
I know who the Mariners. Oh my god, the guy. Oh my god, in his name, I'm brain farting, but it's the one who said my oh my.
Yeah, I'm having
I'm misfiring.
I'm doing a disservice to the profession.
Yeah, I know. So am I. Jeez. Brewers. I was gonna say that was for Euchre.
Yeah.
Honestly, they should have just retired the microphone after he finished rapping on Major League.
True.
Because
Niehaus is who it was
that's
for
it.
the Mariners.
Yeah.
Yet another reason why there's such a.
There you go.
Oh, what an amazing suit too!
Oh my God, he shares the same birthday as my grandmother. Well, not the same year, obviously.
Thanks for reminding me also, because I got to buy a tan suit for this wedding I'm going to.
33 seasons. Wow.
Well, I guess do what you love. You'll never work a day in your life.
Damn right.
That's how. We talked about it yesterday. That's how he called from 1989 until 2019, 5,060 games. He didn't miss a single one.
Yeah. We could spend a whole 3 hours talking about John
Harry.
Man.
Oh, geez.
Oh, great. Now my connection's crapping out.
Yeah, we could spend 3 hours just talking about all the different announcers along with John Sterling, but we would never have a show at that point.
No, because then we would have to go from sports to news.
Especially not if I keep knocking the crap out of my laptop.
Yeah.
My
goodness. But what's next on the agenda tonight, boys? Are we?
No, for real. I'm shocked that I haven't yet. I'm probably just too dehydrated for it. But it says Mr. Wilson says, anybody have thoughts about NHL playoffs? Avalanche looks strong. I think that the Flyers need to not blow this tonight. That's one thought that I have. Because after just getting completely belly rammed on game one, game two was right there for the taking, and then they just completely let the momentum get away from them at the very end.
Yeah.
And I know that they're trying to shake up the lineup a little bit. We'll see how that goes. Or the lines, or whatever term you want to use. But I know that they're trying to shake that up. We'll see what Talkett comes up with. But Connection need to not have a good game in game two. Obviously, I'm honing in on the Flyers in particular in this one, but I didn't expect them to win this series against the Canes, and I think it's going to be good experience for their young players to have to fight through this, but at least show some juice. At least come out of this thing, get one or two games. At least go down with a fight. I get that Carolina is better than Philly is. That's just objective right now. That's the case. But at least go down fighting. You at least against the I almost said the Steelers. You at least against the Tuxedo Ducks looked like you belonged there and looked like you deserved to be, one of the final teams standing. Even though you made it a little too interesting for my liking at the very end. But this is just you can't be going up with a 2-1 lead near the end of the second period like they had in this game, and then just completely fall apart after you just got completely duck rolled in game one. So I need to see a lot better from them tonight. I already believe this series is over, but at least give fans reason to believe that they're going to keep fighting until the very end.
Yeah.
I honestly think, and this is from the lesser standpoint when it comes to hockey, especially when my Rangers aren't in it, and I've been researching all week. is it heresy to root for the Flyers as a Rangers fan? Especially when you have a former Ranger who I absolutely love in Andre Miller on the Canes.
Yeah, we've talked about that.
Yeah. I honestly have a lot more faith in the Flyers evening up this series than I do, obviously, in the 76ers evening up their series going back into Philadelphia. First of all, correct me if I'm wrong, Scoop, like the second loss came in overtime, right?
Can you say that one more time?
The second loss did come in overtime.
Oh, yeah, sorry. I couldn't hear the question, but yes.
Yeah, you know what? I think, in an ironic sense, there sometimes I like to call this like a thawing out period when it comes to sports. Like in baseball, I always say, like, coming off of spring training, everybody's just thawing out. Coming into this series, I think, they were hot before, but they're thawing out a little bit now. They need to, like, get, they just need to get rid of things. I think Philadelphia takes it tonight. I do not think that they go down 0-3. Even if they do, here is the best news about the Flyers. And if they do go down 0-3, that is one of the two, and I don't think they will again, that hockey is one of the two underdog sports that America can still depend on. It is the only other sport in which a team can go down 0-3 in a best of 7 and still come back. Because that's happened 4 times in hockey. I don't like to talk about the baseball one, obviously. But
none of us do. None of us do.
No, this is what thing unites us all. I think Philadelphia is going to get back in the saddle. I actually do think they're going to even the series. You can call me crazy, but then again, that's like the nicest thing anybody's ever called me. So you know what? Go get them, Flyers.
No, I don't think that that's particularly crazy, and I think that most of the teams, or I'm sorry, most of the people who were watching that game one, even though game one was obviously an atrocity on the basketball side, I'm talking now, I think that most people I think would agree that this series in the long run, both teams are just too well matched, I think, where I don't think that the series is going to be that. I think it was going to regress to the closer to the middle throughout the course of the series. It's sometimes one team is just on a hot one. Sometimes one team just for whatever reason can't get their momentum going. But talent, even though talent doesn't always win out per se, there's enough talent I think on that squad to not be disproportionately. It shouldn't look as one-sided like it did. Although maybe that was a preview for the 2 versus 17 matchups we're not going to get with the freaking NBA or NCAA expansion, but hopefully not. But I do think that they are in a position where this series should be a lot more competitive than it appeared in the beginning.
Yeah, I don't think we're in for a disappointing series, 2-0 or 1-1. I mean, listen, it's all about opportunity and opportunity in the moment, and I think
exactly.
If there's anybody who is due to seize the moment, I feel like that there's something different going on in Philadelphia this year. I think somebody must have listen. Everybody thinks that Philadelphia was built on an ancient burial ground, and that's the reason that we're all cursed. Or the Comcast Tower is built higher than the William Penn statue in City Hall or something like that. I forgot what the knowledge is, but I think the clouds are kind of breaking in Philadelphia, and I got nothing but faith with a capital PH.
I love that. I love how you close that out. And now it's been a very eventful past week or two in Philadelphia sports. You had Rob Thompson getting fired. You had obviously the NFL draft, and now the what's going to happen with the safety in situation over there. Because I'm not going to talk about the other controversy that has been largely peddled and the flames beyond fueled. There we go. By WIP. It's mostly just, in my opinion, and most of it's just WIP clickbait porn. And then, there is
a Philadelphia translation to WFAN. Good. I was going to actually ask you about that earlier.
I would 99 out of 100 times I'd take WFAN in terms of at least having people there that I would put legitimacy on their name, in terms of their history of being accurate compared to WIP. WIP is one of my least favorite sports stations I've ever seen or ever followed. I like NBC Philly. I like like a decent number of Philly-based sports sources over there. WIP,
so do I. But I feel like I would still take WIP over WFAN because like I can't listen to Tiki Bar.
The other thing too is it's obviously it's going to depend on the individual and the show and one thing or another.
I love like McPherson, but
say again.
I love like McPherson and that guy Tommy who lost his mind on a Mets fan. He's a Mets fan. He lost his mind on a Mets fan the other day, and it lives rent free in my head. But
I for some reason my brain I thought you were saying Chris McPherson from the Eagles for some reason, but so I short circuited for a second, but no, it just I'm talking like the Elliott Shore Parks of the world, the Joe Gillios of the world, like
Hugh Douglas is right up there with him. Hugh Douglas is a former Eagles great, but Hugh Douglas for some reason always talks crap about Philly. I don't know why.
But yeah, it's been very loud, for lack of a better word, couple weeks in Philadelphia. To be fair, that's not abnormal for Philly sports, but still. And then, pardon me. With that, we're talking about the playoffs for a second. Do I have a second to jump in with something that I didn't put on our schedule? Because I got an update about right before the show about the Pelicans coaching search. And apparently the 3 finalists that has been narrowed down to are Darvin Ham, are Rajon Rondo, and the other name was not a name that I recognized off the rip, so I'm going to pull it back up real quickly. But it was a former Spurs assistant that I know was interviewed earlier in the earlier part of the week. It was, I know, so Sean Sweeney was originally somebody that they looked at. He's now considered out. Jamal Mosley similarly is now considered out. I'm trying to see who. There was one other name that's for some reason I deleted it by accident, but so yeah, it appears that Darvin Ham now is largely becoming the guy in whom they're zooming in on.
I wish I knew how to answer that question, Jody. I don't know how to answer that.
What did he say? Is Brandon?
Who is Michael father?
What?
I don't know.
Did I miss?
Jody, what are you asking me? I'd like to know.
Well, right before that, he asked, "Why do the Astros have so many guys?"
Is he adjacent to Michael Mother?
Tom T.
He's adjacent to Michael Mother. I heard, when it comes to Michael Father, I also, heard some good references from Michael Cousin. And let's not forget the, Avalanche legendary great Jimmy's sister.
Good God.
Tom T. I think I'm guessing that means Tom Thibodeau.
Rick's step cousin is also a legendary.
Because he's saying Tom T. I'm guessing he means Tom Thibodeau, and I hope to God.
Oh, is Vrabel the father?
Okay, that had such little context.
Because we weren't even talking. Well, Scoop, you alluded to it, but I was like, wait a minute, what are we talking about? Like, I was like, I didn't realize that's
Wait, what did I allude to? I haven't mentioned the Rossini thing once on the show yet today.
No, but we were talking about the football stuff, like the stuff that we weren't going to talk about, like that we were.
I was talking about the AJ Brown debacle.
Yeah, but that includes her and him
so it's
and all that stuff.
It's not Tom Thibodeau. So it's Tom Thibodeau and Vrabel. So we've ruled out that this being the topic of discussion on Timothy Grandpa.
Timothy Grandpa.
I'm just gonna start naming people with random family member names. I'm running out though.
Yeah, I don't know where that. Like, I was so curious how far down the chain.
God, I wish.
Michael Father, man. Oh my God.
I wish we could have a thing of sit them both down and do like Jerry Springer or Maury Povich
Maury
And
Povich.
I figured this out.
Oh, I'm sorry. I said Spurs. There was a third guy whose name I said I couldn't find. This is actually a Nets current assistant, Steve Hetzel.
Yeah, I don't even know our assistants. You don't want that. You don't want that. If I don't know the assistants, you don't want that.
Okay.
No, that's the last thing you want. Otherwise you'll be in the base. You'll just be stuck in the basement with us at that point.
I'm intrigued by the possibility of Rajon Rondo, but based on where the team is, I think Darvin Ham
See,
makes a little more sense.
Former players that go immediately into coaching, I'm worried about that.
You and me both.
Because perfect example. Look what Steve Nash did with the Nets. Nothing.
Yeah. Well, it's also gosh, I'm blanking on I like JJ Redick with the Lakers, but it's like I think it has to be the right fit in the right situation, and I just think that team just needs a higher up, like a more authoritative figure right now. And I don't know. I'm not. I get that he's probably going to, and I'd like to get that. I'm just not. I think he should go assistant first. I'm a little reluctant for him to get ahead so fast.
Jody is asking about Brandon Sorsby. I want to give some context on this. He will not play college football this year. That's over. There's no chance. He does not have any legal case for him to play college football this year.
I heard he was trying to go into the supplemental draft.
He will go in the supplemental draft.
He basically would have to. Yeah.
He will go in the supplemental draft. He's going to the supplemental draft. My bet is that a team will put a 4th rounder on him. I think 4th or 5th is about the right thing. So I just want to clarify that before you guys talk about it, because he can't play college football this year. He has no legal grounds because he's literally in an inpatient hospital. Oh my God, can I do an inpatient hospital rant?
Oh God, where's that going?
What's that mean?
So here's the thing, guys. Any inpatient or outpatient facility, it's as like, I don't know how best to explain this. It's basically like hell, but in real life. Like, it is hell. And the reason why it's hell, oh my God, I need to turn off my TV. I apologize. Or not turn off. I'm watching the Cavs game and then my audio is on. I apologize. No, but basically it is death, because you sit there, doesn't matter what, you sit there and you essentially just talk about your problems with other people who have the same problems as you, and it's very negative. And they just want to keep you there for money. They don't actually care about getting you better. They say they do, but they don't. Like, they might give you like medication and stuff. That's what happened to me. Is I got meds and I got the hell out of there because I felt like I wanted to kill myself every day. It's almost like, and again, I don't know what it is for alcoholism. I don't know what it is for gambling addiction. I know what it is for wanting to kill yourself. I know what it is for suicide. It's you sit there with other people who are suicidal and you talk about why you're suicidal for 9 hours. It is awful. It is not fun at all. It is really hard. It's really taxing. And honestly, I'm sorry to put this way, it made me want to kill myself more because you're just around people with the same
mentality, mindset,
the same mentality as you. And then for anybody who works in an inpatient or outpatient facility, much love to you because it's awful. I mean, you spend any addiction, it is awful because you take that home with you. The stress of a good person wanting to hurt themselves, the stress of a good person, being addicted to something that's awful. Like it is like we need a better system than what we currently have for any addiction any mental issue. Because inpatient and outpatient facilities, I understand why it exists, but it is not the right way to deal with any addiction or any mental health problem. It is awful. And I say that from someone who experienced an inpatient facility for 2.5 months. Or no, an outpatient facility, outpatient facility for 2.5 months. It is hell. What Brandon Sorsby's going through right now is the definition of hell. Yeah, and I know that it's different, but it is awful. Like if you are really, really struggling with addiction, you go into any of these, whether it's addiction, mental health issues, any of it, it's awful. And I just want to be very clear that the most important thing that we should be focusing on is the guy's health, because this sucks. And yeah, the football stuff is the football stuff. We're going to get to that in the next 2 to 3 months. It's going to take a long while because I think the supplemental draft is in June or July. So let's wait a few weeks. I just wanted to mention very clearly how much hell the guy is going through right now. Because it is the inpatient and outpatient facilities are awful, and they are not fun, and they are difficult, and they are taxing, and it is hard to be around people who are that negative all the time or struggle with the same things. That is hard, and it makes you realize how much you're not alone in things, but it is hard because that's all you do. You spend 9 hours every day or however long you spend just talking about that. And that is very hard for a lot of people. So I figured I'd just bring that up with Brandon Sorsby because as someone who's experienced suicide and or suicidal thoughts and experienced an outpatient facility, and I've seen inpatient facilities as well, it is awful. It's awful. It is scary. It is awful. And oh my God, that's all I have to say on that.
Yeah. Rob, thanks for putting that into perspective, by the way. And first of all, I'm glad you're here still, man. And I can attest to what Rob is saying. Not that I've experienced it myself. I've had people in my
family. Thank you, my brother. Thank you.
Absolutely. I've had people in my family who, I've been candid, about the history with my dad. He struggled with alcohol a while. He was lucky. He was in the police department, so he went up to the place called the Farm. And Rob's right. I've had myself my own mental struggles, although I've been a lot more glib about it, especially with saying I Scoop, Brandon, I've told you guys about what I've been going through in the last few months on the job. I'd be like, hey, I'm wondering if committing myself is a better option than going to work every day. Still up in the air as to whether or not that would have been a better option, but yeah, it's important, it's important to have this conversation. And, thanks to Rob for being so candid about it. And, I'm glad we're also hosting a show that we are drawing better attention to this because, we all I know I joke about it. My sanity, easy joke topic, by the way, as Scoop definitely knows, but it's also important that, we all take care of ourselves and, we all recognize the other people who show it and don't show it so much, and this, you guys, all of us have talked about, what certain athletes are going through, whether they've disclosed it or not. That's kind of my case when it comes to people like, Marcus Stroman and Jazz Chisholm, who have gone through their own sort of things, and there are other social factors beyond that too. But I can only say,
if we talk about baseball, Jarren Duran being another major one recently.
Yeah, Jarren Duran for sure, and Zach Greinke. Oh my God! I mean, we can go down the line. It's again, one of the things I love about the show is that we all recognize the more intricacies of the scenario, and because we're all human, especially all four of us on the show. I mean, it's good to keep it on the forefront, but that's what I'll say about that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I think that it's also helpful. That's I don't even know if that's the correct word, but I think it's become increasingly meaningful, is the way that I'll put it, for people who are at the top of things like sports, who have been not just speaking out about their own stuff, but also actively trying to encourage and create spaces for others to get that help and get that work that they need. I mean, I almost said Jay Kruger, excuse me, Jay Glazer, having written, that the book that he did, and then all of the stuff that he's done since then. Brandon, all three of us know this. There's multiple players. Yes, I'm going to mention a couple of Eagles, but it goes across all 32 teams with guys like Lane Johnson has talked about it. Our former interior lineman Brandon Brooks talked about it
Yep.
quite a bit. It's becoming more and more acknowledged, for lack of a better word, or respected, I guess you'd say, because, and I think Jay Glazer put it very well one time. I don't remember what show he was on, but he basically said, when our back is hurting, or our leg is hurting, or our head is hurting, or whatever, we go to the doctor. When our psyche is hurting, we should be doing the same thing, type of thing.
Remember did you see, and I didn't even know, and no one knew about this because the crowd kind of went silent at his Hall of Fame ceremony, but Brian Dawkins admitted that he was this close to ending it.
Man, I'm so glad he didn't.
Right. He said that sometime around, I think it was sometime around his rookie season, he said to his wife at the time, still his wife now, but wife early on, he said that he was thinking of a way to kill himself so that she would get the money from the insurance policy. And he said that he was in such a dark place, like that he was like he just could not pull himself out, and she was one of the reasons that he eventually pulled out of it. But that he said that he was literally that close to not being.
Yeah, I think the point that I'm trying to make with the Sorsby thing is like he was clearly addicted to gambling.
Yeah,
and he, if you're going to a facility for that, and by the way, it's illegal what he did. So I don't know what that looks like. I have no idea. But a lot of people our age or below are I guess around our age, because Sorsby's around our age. A lot we're indicted with DraftKings, FanDuel, advertising.
Yeah.
And again, I know that this has been said over and over the past week. I'm repeating the same things everyone's already said, but essentially, like, gambling now is like one of the most accessible things that you can have. Like, it's just, I mean, look, I live in Washington. I don't have access to it. But I know that you guys do in your neck of the woods, right? In terms of just, hey, I have DraftKings, I have FanDuel on my phone, I put the money in from my account, boom, boom, boom.
I haven't bet in probably over a year.
Yeah, but guess what? What happens? You make one bet, you win one set of money, even $5, and then go, oh my God, I can always win. When, realistically, and that this is what happens with casinos and stuff, realistically, the idea is that you don't turn a profit. And the people who do turn a profit are the people who do it every day and are like, and this is actually their job to think about these things. So like when DraftKings says like, oh, you can make $1 million or this many people won $1 million. Well, if you dig deep into the legality aspect of it, as Jay's our lawyer of the group, that's not entirely the case. It's really not. There's a lot of tax. It's not entirely the case. So the ads are very mischievous in that way, and it's all the promo codes and stuff. It's very convincing. It's very and look, not to say that look, we're in a world where, especially podcasting, where it's like, yeah, eventually you would partner up with a gambling company, but there is a reason that at the end of these ads, it's like, if you have a gambling problem, call this number. This is something that law is very clear about, but it doesn't stop people. It doesn't. No. And with Sorsby, that's what happened. It's saying, oh, I can bet on one thing. Oh my God, I'm winning money. Okay, I'm going to continue. And a lot of people do that. And that's what it turns. Like, this is what I try to tell people. Like, you have to think about very clearly, what are your addictions? Like, for us, sports is an addiction. Like, football for me is an addiction. It is an addiction that I have to manage, or else it will, like, I will get consumed by it and it will be unhealthy. Like, you're addicted to something, whether you like it or not. Whether it's you're addicted to coffee,
even if you don't realize it sometimes. Like,
or sometimes it's just acceptable. Oh, it's okay. Like Brandon brought up coffee. Like, it's okay to be fueled by coffee.
Right. That's what's funny is, like, I was talking to Shane about this yesterday. Like, coffee is the most normal, and I love coffee. Don't get me wrong, I do. I love Lion Coffee. I love the coffee that we drink. But there's a reason I wake up, have one cup, and call it. There's people in my life that they have one cup. Oh, let's have another one. Oh, later in the day, let's have 3. Let's have 4. Like, no. that, it's fine to have 1 cup of coffee in the morning to pump yourself up, but don't, gas guzzle it.
You can really do damage to your body drinking
from
that much
gas
coffee.
guzzling stuff.
By the way,
And again,
what type of coffee, Rob?
This coffee, baby.
No. What, how do you say you love some type of coffee? What type of coffee you said?
Lion coffee. This brand right here.
Other than Lion. Like,
Yeah.
how do you say it?
What other coffees I have? Or are you saying like flavors or like?
I was gonna say you said, because I thought you said you love black coffee, and I was gonna say I was trying to get.
You know what? Okay. So you know what's funny?
I was trying to get the joke in and say we're called African American, Robert.
Oh dear Lord!
No.
Come on, guys! I made the return. I had to make the black joke.
Well, here's the thing though. Do you know? Okay, this is gonna be kind of a complete left turn, but do you know about the fact that like a lot of people, when they get addicted to coffee, they start with like, because that's what I'm starting with, is like vanilla and the flavored stuff, and then you kind of revert back to black coffee. But that's also part of the
Once you go black, you never go back.
Jesus Christ.
Oh
My God.
There we go. I got it anyway.
And then Mr. Wiltsey said, "Okay, I need this on a shirt. Don't get too much blood in my caffeine."
Awesome.
I need that on a shirt.
Yes, Patrick.
See,
my point.
now I know Barnes chimed in, right? Because Barnes is our resident like diehard.
I saw him in there
Yankee
somewhere
fans too. But Barnes' addiction is Yankees baseball.
Yeah.
And Barnes will tell you that too. So
I ain't going to rehab for that, or for Eagles.
Hell no. No, listen.
But that's what I'm trying to say. Like, I think no matter what age you are, I would encourage like sit down and like write in like a notepad or something. What are my addictions? Because you have 1 or 2 or 3 or God forbid 60 of them. Because people do, and it's like, listen, like and that's the thing. It needs to. Addictions aren't necessarily bad. Like you can have an addiction for gambling, but you're not going to gamble every 5 seconds of every day. You're not going to have like.
You'd be surprised though.
But that's kind of my point with the Sorsby thing. Like the Sorsby thing, it stems from.
It's not just what it is; it's how you manage it.
Right, exactly. And what I'm saying that is like with Sorsby, not entirely his fault. Yes, he bears some blame for like, look, what he did was illegal, and that there's no denying that. But what I think we need to recognize is the fact that part of it is the fact that gambling companies are flipping everywhere, and as Jay said, Kalshi as well. And so it's like. These things are everywhere. They're in our zeitgeist, and their target is us. The target is Gen Z. And Brandon Sorsby is not the first one, and certainly won't be the last of people in our age group or below who go to rehab for gambling addiction.
Where did the Brandon go?
He said he's popping out for a second. He's got stuff to do. But no, that's kind of the only thing I had to say. It's like, people have to realize that like he deserves some blame. Actually, he deserves a good amount, especially with the fact that it's, again, flipping illegal what he did. But also we have to acknowledge the other side of it, which is it's right in front of our face, and it's targeted to our age group and below. It is targeted to college kids. It just is.
Right in front of us.
It's right in front of our faces, especially those who, you're a college quarterback. You're trying to make the NFL. There's a lot of pressure. You got to put something into it. For him, unfortunately, it was gambling. So that's what I have to say about that.
Yeah.
Jay, as soon as you said it's right in front of us, all I heard was
Aaron Boone.
Yep.
That's it. That's what I was going for. And honestly, I mean, I always like to say, like, I couldn't really gamble like that because, like, first of all, I'm too broke to throw away money like that.
Damn right.
Respect.
Yeah, right. Especially now. But I mean, my other thing is just like, yeah, I mean, listen, addiction manifests itself in the most damnedest ways too. You don't need to be in a bar to be addicted to alcohol. Like all you got to do is like, hey, you want to, all you got to do is think about chilling out on a pier and like drinking. I'm like, I'm in for that one. I mean, it sounds relaxing. I'd like to say like the act itself is more of the catalyst, or not, but it's not the inciting incident. I guess is what I would say there.
Yeah, it's because somebody I can't recall which one it was, but somebody a few moments ago said like you might not even realize it, and I would argue like there's a good chance that somebody who's addicted to somebody addicted to something doesn't even realize it.
Yeah.
Like what's crazy too, and it's like and we don't even realize it. Like, there's even the there's even tiny things that you're told as a little kid that can just alter your brain and get you addicted to things later in life. Like when they say like all like when adults tell you that all life is work 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 work. If you become a workaholic,
Okay, Rihanna.
you will ruin your life that way. Like
I hate that I laughed in that moment, but it's Jay's fault.
but it's yeah, but like it's like if like people who become workaholics that you literally don't know how to stop, you will ruin all your personal relationships. But
Yep.
it's like, but you're told from day one as a little kid, like, oh, Leo, gotta work hard, gotta keep going, gotta do this, gotta do that. Like,
No.
but that you can't live life that way. So it's like you can be addicted to just little things
No.
like that you're told early on, like that all you have to do in your life is work, and that's it. It's like, no, that's not how you're supposed to live life.
No.
Tell that, please say that louder, Brandon, for everybody in the legal profession.
Yeah.
Like, please, like, especially the ones who insist on billable hours.
Damn right.
That's why there's so many.
I have been told, he's like, what do you mean you're not at the day after Christmas, where I once mistook like a day off for a day, a day on for a day off. I asked, like, listen, if you want me working today, what do you mean if I want you working today? You should be working every day. I'm like, oh, okay. So do you even do any work on the weekend? I'm like, yes, but not of my own volition. It's like I do it because that's the job. It really shouldn't be. Technically, you don't pay me to work on a weekend, but
Yeah.
I mean, man. No, I'm already close to that one, so I won't go further on that.
Say that one more time.
I said I'm already close to the line on that one, so I won't go further than that.
Oh yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't know how to segue from that. But
Well, let's backtrack here. We've discussed John Sterling. We have discussed legal issues that include gambling. We've talked about
which I would argue is a more important topic on the NCAA.
Yeah, we've talked about the NHL playoffs, not in full, but we talked about it. And Rob made a good point that we can segue into the NBA somehow. I don't know how we're going to do that, but we could if we wanted to.
I mean, I was talking a little bit about what the hell did I just click? I was talking a little bit about the
Rondo stuff.
Can I yell about the NBA playoffs for 5 minutes? I'm really angry about this. This playoffs has pissed me off.
Here we
go. I'm
too,
really
bro.
pissed. I'm really pissed off at a lot of these teams. Cleveland, what are you doing? I'm watching the game right now. This is why my audio is all messed up because I'm getting used to being backstage and like muting my TV and stuff. So I apologize. We're getting used to it. James Harden in the first half of this game at one point has 3 points and went 1 for 6. 1 for 6.
That's the old James. That's Houston James Harden, baby.
And this is my point, okay?
And Brooklyn James Harden.
Any version of James Harden. And you know what he's doing? It's very simple. Stop driving in the lane every time. He drive like earlier in this second quarter. He's driving into the lane, and there's 4 bodies converging on him. Pass out of it. You have some of the best 3-point shooters in the NBA. I'm gonna be real. This Cleveland roster can win a title. That's how good they are.
Yeah.
Yep.
And they play like they're playing and flipping molasses on every offensive possession. And by the way, Detroit-Orlando was one of the worst series I've ever seen. I've watched bits and pieces of every game of those 7, and it was awful. It was abysmal. Cleveland, Toronto, and then Cleveland, Toronto, same thing. Toronto should not have been in that series, but they just are. Cleveland is crashing so much on the offensive and defensive side. I'm like, guys, just why are you leaving half the court wide open defensively? What are you doing? And then the other aspect of it is, and that's why I was like, I'm excited to see how crap this Cleveland Detroit series is. It's bad. It's really entertaining because it's two really bad teams who are genuinely awful at just basic basketball fundamentals. It's amazing that Denver is even the 1 seed because that shows you how bad the Eastern Conference was this year. Because Detroit, to me, by the time we got to March, looked like barely a play-in team in the Western Conference, if that. If they were in the West, they wouldn't have made the playoffs. That's how bad the East was this year from top to bottom. And it's like when you're looking at this Cleveland series right now, it's like there is no reason Cleveland should be struggling offensively. There's no reason that they should be, making these mistakes. There's no cohesion. Jared Allen has been awful all year long. He had like one good stretch for 1 month, and he looks lost out there. Honestly, the entire roster offensively looks lost. And same with Detroit. Detroit, they don't know what they're doing offensively either.
Well, Detroit's just Cade and nothing else.
Detroit's Cade and Duran Duran can be Duran can be a good rebounder and be a good rim protector. He's only that for maybe a few minutes every game of the last 2 series, and it's like Cleveland and Detroit's entertaining because it's boring, because it's messing up the basic fundamentals of basketball that you learn when you're like 10. And it's like, it is unbelievable watching it and going, oh my God, like what is happening here? Lakers, OKC, the Lakers are going to keep some of the games close. It should be a really entertaining series. I thought game 1 was very entertaining, but it's not that good of a series. Let's see. Let me scroll through the other ones here.
The Lakers are losing by 18, and that's what like SGA not doing a whole lot. So it's like
but this is the thing. They were down by like 5 or 6 most of that game. Yeah. It's not like they weren't like. It's not like they're not being competitive in the series. It's not like they're not going to win a couple. Oh, that's the one I was really wanted to get to. Minnesota and San Antonio is amazing.
Isn't it? That's the best series I think so far.
It is so good because it's so confusing. Minnesota won their last series because they were bigger and stronger. So in game 1, they were like, okay, we'll let Wemby get as many. Wemby had one of the greatest game 1s in NBA history. I mean, you could go look at the stat line. I don't even want to pull it up because I'm probably going to puke. Because it is pukeable. It is like watching him play is like
in a good way.
In a good way. It causes me to combust into a ball and want to throw myself. Like it is actually like that level of just insanity. It's actually insanity that I would pull up the stats, but I don't want to. That's how, because it will make me puke.
Do you want me to? Because that would be good content.
You can. I will puke though. Like pull up his game 1. Just read it out. Just read out his like blocks, rebounds, and points from game 1. It's unfathomable. It's disgusting. He
only had 11 points. The shooting wasn't great, but he had 15 boards and 12 blocks.
It's so stupid. It is the dumbest thing ever. And so that's the thing though, is like the Spurs as a roster is very young. They're really young. And then game 1, I was watching the Mando and Grogu preview, which I'm not going to speak on because I'm not allowed to. I just saw I can't speak on it. I'm basically embargoed from speaking on it. But basically, so I came back after the preview showing, and I think it was like 5 minutes left in the third quarter of game 1. And all it was all right, Reed, let's switch onto the smaller, younger guys and make Wemby double team or make Wemby make a decision. And he made a lot of good decisions, but they basically forced his hand on a lot of possessions, which is why they were able to win game 1. And then in game 2, they just were flat. Minnesota, if they're not using their big man effectively, they turn really flat. Because they can't depend on Anthony Edwards to score everything when he's not fully healthy, which he's not at the moment. Knicks, Sixers,
they need Rudy and Randall to contribute.
Yeah, and Nas on the bench as well. The Knicks Philly series, Embiid continues to just, unfortunately, and I'm sorry, Jay, you know where I'm going with this. Embiid, unfortunately, is just not at all healthy even when he is he's really good even when he's not healthy. But the problem is the Knicks have so much talent across the board, even compared to the previous series against Boston, where Boston is so much younger and inexperienced. The Knicks are experienced top to bottom, especially even Ariel Hawk-Porter is young. I still think he's more experienced than right.
Yeah, I agree with you, brother. Especially on the younger team part. Jaylen Brown is a whiny ass baby, but I think we've run into it. I was waiting for that to land. I think we've run into a ton of talent. Listen, call me crazy. I still think we're going to even the series in Philadelphia.
I still think you. I could see a reality where it goes 6 games, but that's about it. I don't think you win the series.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still riding the high and the bias of us coming back against Boston, and their
which is still good.
And I think the Sixers themselves were too.
Yeah, they are.
I mean, again, I'm riding the high of us coming back against a whiny baby ass team headed by Jaylen Brown. But I mean,
Yeah, so that's kind of my thoughts on all 4 series right now. It's fun. So these playoffs have been a lot more fun.
Oh yeah, honestly, I'm enjoying watching the season.
I'm just glad teams are playing defense again.
It's kind of what's funny. What's funny about it is the swing. The swing from all right, we're scoring 150 or 130 to 150 total points plus a game to here's a ton of final scores of 195 and 111 to 110. It's kind of crazy, but it does show how many teams just coasted and was the moment we get into the play-in, the moment we get into the playoffs, we're actually going to start playing. And that's a bad thing for the NBA, and we've talked about why it's a bad thing for the NBA before. We don't need to talk about it now. But these playoffs have been so enjoyable, so unpredictable. The East is unpredictable as hell right now. So it makes it a lot of fun, and it's a good time. And should we get Kruger some caffeine? Yes, we should.
Hell yeah, you should. Somebody get me some caffeine.
And then and you know what? And Kenny, this is exactly where I'm at. I have Thunder Knicks, and I have the Thunder winning in 6 right now.
Yep,
that's what I have right now. And I don't think that's really debatable because the way Cleveland is playing, the way Denver is playing, or not Denver, the way Detroit's playing right now, they're going to get roasted.
It's like the AL.
I'm trying to remember who I had. I think I had San Antonio, Detroit.
The only, you know what though, that's not a bad way of thinking to have that, because you got to think the Spurs in regular season.
Yes.
The Spurs in regular season owned OKC, and Detroit in regular season owned the Knicks.
Yep.
So it's not a bad way of thinking.
It's not bad, but Detroit has regressed since then.
Yeah,
they do not look like
Detroit.
They don't
know how to put together.
They are not playing the same way they played in December. From October to I would say mid-January.
It's Cade Cunningham and friends
right now. And I would say give respect to Jalen Duren because Duren has been really good. But that's
it.
But the rest of that roster just looks it looks lost. And by the way, that's the thing. They look lost. So does Cleveland. So, you know, it's like
that's why I say it's like the AL Central of basketball.
it literally is right now. Yeah, that's what
Like,
that series is right now.
Like I didn't want to be glib about it, but when I was riding high off of the Sixers, I said, "Listen, if we win this series, I think we're going to the finals." It doesn't look like that now, but
If Embiid was healthy, you would have won the East. And I don't think that's like if Embiid was fully healthy the entire not Paul George, just Embiid, if he's healthy for including the playoffs, let's say 75 games, you win the East.
Yeah.
You win the East. You win the East and you're a 1 seed right now. You're bare minimum a 2, but yet you're a 7. That's the reality of it.
Yeah.
And again, it brings up the question, and now is not the time for it because we have a long way to go. We know the Giannis stuff is like they're saying one thing and doing another. I don't know. Regardless, there needs to be serious questions in that front office of what they do. And again, that depends on how this series goes with New York. But Jay, I think you can admit that this offseason now, they have to sit down and say, okay, do we get younger? Do we get more athletic? Do we go for a Giannis? Because right now, and you can admit this, Jay, if let's say you lose this series and let's say Knicks win in 6, the decisions that you have to make as an organization this offseason, with the money that's tied up in Embiid, with the money that's tied up in Paul George, the factor in the second apron, there's not much you can really do to even get out of the situation. You're almost stuck for 2027.
Yes.
Yeah. You're almost stuck. So you just have to figure out how Embiid can get healthy. And right now, is that a possibility? No.
I think it is. I think the bigger
and that's fine. And by the way, that's fine to be hopeful about it. Because he's good even off one leg. You just want him to have 2
one leg
legs
and one
that
eye.
function. Right, yeah. You just want him to have 2 legs that properly function. And if it does, you're content. You're a top team in the East. And Embiid is just scoop right now. That's funny. But yeah, so that's my overall take right now. I need to turn back on the Cleveland game. I started getting really bored.
Fire take though.
Yeah, it's just and again, it might be hot for some, but like this Eastern Conference,
oh God,
this Eastern Conference is
there we go. If Embiid,
I was going to say that was a good way to cap it off. This Eastern Conference is disappearing.
Yeah, this Eastern Conference is disappearing, but also this Eastern Conference, if Embiid's healthy, there's no front court in the Eastern Conference that can deal with Embiid right now. There's no front court in the Eastern Conference.
That's what frustrates me so much is the fact that he hasn't gotten a ring yet, because that's so absolutely true.
And that's the thing. That's the thing. And then you go to the Western Conference. Sorry, Brandon. And then you go to the Western Conference. The same thing. Who's the best front court in the NBA right now as a whole? It's Minnesota. But then you see game 2, and you're like, oh well, they just can die on a whim from one game to another. So who cares? Brandon, go ahead. Sorry.
And I mean, not for nothing, but the biggest part of why Embiid can't win a ring is because he'll be great for half a season. He'll be injured or healthy or load managed for half a season, still playing well. But then you get to the playoffs. When is he ever healthy come playoff time? When is he ever healthy? It feels like every time we get to the playoffs, it's a knee injury or it's a foot or it's both knees. I'm like, it's always something.
Jay, can I ask you a genuine?
There's always something in Philadelphia.
Can I ask you how much of the Sixers have you watched this year, just as a whole?
So there's a funny thing about that. Not a tremendous lot, and here's why. In the regular season.
Yeah.
Every time I'm not watching, that's when they win. When I do tune in, when I'm able to tune in, they lose. So there have been 3 things that have happened in the regular season for the Sixers: cardiac wins, cardiac losses, and complete blowout losses. There has never been anything other than that.
Yeah, and Kenny is right. Like, if you let Embiid score 25-30 and Maxey, Edgecombe's a future star, but he's not there yet. Edgecombe's had a brilliant postseason, in my opinion, but he's still very young.
Right. And
He's a
right.
rookie. He's a rookie. So I'm not going to punish him if he struggles in the playoffs. You're always going to struggle as a rookie in the playoffs. But every time you watch the Sixers, every time Embiid just falls on the ground, do you tense up? Because that happens to me all the time.
Freaking game. Yes, absolutely.
It happens to me
that
all
guy
the
is playing
time.
with all of his organs gone.
Yeah,
and he is
every
still,
time I watch him fall,
he won't be good.
Every time I watch him fall, it looks like his leg is bending in half. Like literally bending in half. It's so freaky.
Yeah, and he's such a dog. The other part of it is, he's going to get back up. He's going to put it together. But at the same time, it's going to take something out of him. And Ken is absolutely right on what he's saying, 25 to 30. Our biggest issue, yes, is our depth. Everybody was telling me that coming into this series, and it is coming to bear. We got to do better, especially on that end. We need to get younger and we need to get deeper.
But again, the question of how do you get younger and deeper when you're sitting in the second apron luxury tax like no tomorrow? You can't.
Yeah.
You're stuck.
Yeah.
You're stuck. So,
I was happy about the Paul George contract when it first happened, but, I was cautiously happy. I feel like I am now more cautious than happy.
Yeah. It's crazy. The East is fun though, because it's such a mess. And I know this kind of sounds sacrilege to what we said earlier. It does feel like anybody can win the East. It does feel like every time an Eastern Conference game starts, you just never kind of know what's going to happen in the game, and that's pretty fun. It's making the playoffs a good time. But that's all I have on the NBA right now. And we kind of touched on the NCAA bracket. Really, it's just a revenue thing, and there's nothing more to say about that. What I'm curious with the NCAA currently is just how they distribute these games, which we're not going to know until March. Because it's like, okay, so a majority of the games are going to be on Paramount Plus. Okay, that's fine. What games are going to be on CBS? What games are going to be on the Turner slate of networks? How many of the Turner networks are going to be left by the time we get to March? Is True TV still going to be a network? Are they going to merge with CBS Sports Network? That I think is a very smart move. The thing is, there's more questions that I have than answers, because it's like, okay, you announced that you have 76. That's fine. I understand we've talked about the competitive balance quality and all that. Aside from all that, what does it look like from a viewership standpoint? Is it accessible enough? If your favorite team makes this tournament, how accessible is it for you to watch? That's my question. Anyway, that's all I got.
I doubt it'll be that accessible, honestly. Because think about this. You've already got them in the current field. You've already got the 1 through 16. And you've already got them playing on CBS. I mean, mostly at Paramount stations, but still, you're dividing it among CBS, True TV, who nobody watches. I think TNT or TBS, something like that. Like all these different stations. I'm like, okay, you're already splitting it up among 3, 4, 5 stations. But it's like, and the worst part is like your team is not consistent with a certain station. So it's like your game might one day be on True TV, another day it might be on CBS. Next day it might be on might be on Paramount Plus for God's sake. So like it's already not that accessible. And Rob's right. Yeah, those are the ones I was thinking of. Yeah, but it's like that's also just like, now we're adding more teams to this, and now we're going to try to figure out how to configure them and put them all into different.
I wasn't able to confirm this, but there was a report earlier that they have agreed on 24 teams for the CFB.
Oh, and that's even worse.
Yep.
Because 12 is good enough. A 12 can beat a 1 seed. I think it's not likely.
They're currently still in the negotiations. That is not official. It's close, but it's not official.
Yeah. Well, that's why I wanted to clarify that. It wasn't me saying
Yeah, no, it's not official because the SEC and the Big Ten and ESPN are yelling at each other like crazy about the financials. So yeah.
God. It's like I can't. Well, I know we keep saying that it brings in more money, but it's like at some point, just don't have a playoff because that's what we're getting towards. At some point, you know what? Just let everybody in. Records don't matter anymore, and
Yeah.
then we'll just have everybody
Kenny,
play to see who wins.
Kenny
Screw it.
says, "Scoop, can I ask a fun random football question? You can ask any question you want." I'm glad you said football because I had a feeling you were going to ask me. I had a feeling you were going to ask me the same question you've been asking me for 5 weeks about basketball. So yeah, ask me your football question.
I was waiting for that question too. I was
And by the way, he's right.
hoping-
He's right on his take about the fouls. I'm with you on that one, Kenny. Absolutely.
Jay, I'll say this as a Knicks fan, I want to see the rest. Let the Sixers and Knicks play old school ball. Enough of the ticky-tack foul calls. I mean, I think that's a pretty ubiquitous thought in sports the last couple of years. That it's just like, I mean, you guys know the complaint that I had 3 years ago in the Super Bowl, and it's just at the end of the day, I want the games decided by the players, not the zebras.
Yeah. Like it's like, it's one thing if the call is egregious, like the Saints Rams game.
Yeah.
And like that call was that's easily pass interference. That is textbook all day, every day. That was basically a murder that was committed on the field before the ball even got there. And I'm like, that should be a flag. But a slight like for the Chiefs Eagles one. I mean, I know we're Eagles fans, but a slight pull of the jersey like this should not be a flag. Not in that moment.
It's like he's been on here a couple times. It's like Coach DeBell said multiple times. He said there's a big difference between something you can call and something you have to call.
Yeah. Yep. Like I'll never like even even when I think about just in certain like in basketball to me has officiating across the board in all sports is terrible, but for one reason or another. But in basketball, the amount of times that I see these referees that don't know what the hell a foul is, like when I see guys go straight up in the paint and they're blowing the whistle, saying, "Oh, shooting foul." How? If I'm going straight up and the guy is literally jumping into me, how's that a foul on me?
No.
If I'm going straight up.
Yep.
Like I don't understand how they're always so quick to call that one.
Wait, guys. Wait. Are we home? We're not home. We're in Philly, right, for that game.
You're coming to us, Philly.
Yeah, so that can't be opening night because it needs to be in Seattle. It's going to be the Bears. I've heard from multiple sources that it is the Bears. So it's going to be Bears.
Wait,
Seahawks.
why can't? Oh, because opening night was in Philly last year. Right?
Well, no, because the team that wins the Super Bowl has to host the opening game.
Oh, okay.
It's only been the case for like 2 to 3 years or like a couple years that's not the case, but 99% of the time it has to be the case. And they've already announced that Wednesday night, which I think is September 3rd or the 4th, it is in Seattle. We've made schedule changes for that. The Mariners are playing earlier in the day. The Sounders have moved their schedule around. It is in Seattle. So if the Eagles were on the road, in Philly, they cannot pick that game.
And
what I've heard from multiple sources is that it's the Bears. I can't confirm that, but I've heard from multiple people that it is the Bears. It could be the Cowboys. I think that's massively unlikely. It's not going to be the AFC title team that shall not be named for obvious reasons. They don't want to see it again. It's going to be the Bears. If it's not the Bears, I'd be stunned. It should have been Rams or Niners, but obviously they're in Melbourne. And by the way, that got announced today that is going to be on Netflix because Netflix won that contract. So Rams.
Oh, great! So nobody will watch it.
Yeah, they split that 5-game international, or it's technically not an international package, but they split the Monday Night Football package, that doubleheader package. Which, by the way, that doesn't mean that basically we're just getting rid of double headers and we're moving those games to different slots. So it was a 5-game contract. Fox was bidding for it for a period. Apple was bidding for it for a period. It is now split, officially announced. It is now split between YouTube and Netflix. So 5 games. It's probably going to be a 3-2 split, something like that. So we're talking What I've heard is, so we're talking some of the international games. So I think like 2 of them, because CBS got the Rio one. Christmas Eve. The slots I've heard is Christmas Eve, the second Black Friday game, which has already basically been announced. We're gonna have 2 Black Friday games, and then the Wednesday Thanksgiving Eve night game is probably gonna be a Netflix game as well. So that Thanksgiving week's gonna be crazy because we're gonna have a Wednesday night game, 3 Thursday night games, 2 Friday night games,
Oh my god.
a full slate Sunday, and then Monday night. So that's going to be a crazy week. That's what I've heard. And then they're trying to do that for Christmas too. So Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, whatever. Yeah. So that's what I've heard from sources. So yeah, we can't. I'm sorry to interrupt you, Scoop, but the reason why I wanted to jump in is that we can't have Seahawks.
Oh, then
Eagles
Kenny also asked you, who's your AFC West opponents at home for you guys?
I know. I don't know actually.
You just
I
look
do not
it up.
know.
No, you can just if you.
I have to look it up. I have to look it up.
Okay.
I have to look up what our home opponents are because I forgot. I don't look things up until this.
Your home opponents are your 3 division rivals.
You got the Cardinals and the Rams. Actually, Cardinals, Rams, and Niners at home. You're only.
They're not gonna pick the Cardinals,
division, right? That's your division.
They're not gonna pick the Cardinals.
The other teams you're playing at home are the Cowboys, Giants, Chiefs, Chargers, Bears, and Patriots.
They're not gonna pick the Chiefs because they're scared of Mahomes. They're not gonna pick. They could pick the Chargers. It's the Bears. It's so obvious that it's the Bears.
Will Mahomes be playing Week 1?
Apparently, yeah. He's ahead of schedule by 2 months.
That's insane.
Yeah. This came out, I think, Tuesday. I don't remember who it was. I think it was either Veach or Reed or one of the medical doctors said that he's ahead of schedule by 2 months. He's basically already doing like light OTA work. I don't want the Chargers, Kenny, because their offensive line is so bad. And the Bears are more interesting from a competitive standpoint because people are interested in what Caleb Williams is going to look like, so it makes sense. Chargers could be fun, but I don't want that. It's boring for me. But yeah, so I think it's the Bears. I think Seahawks Philly is a primetime game. I think that's probably a Monday nighter. I would say. I think ESPN's gonna get that one. I could be Sunday night, but I don't see that happening. I don't know because part of the delay was part of the reason the schedule was supposed to come out on the 14th. It looks like, or the 13th. It looks like it will come out on the 20th. And the reason for that, yeah, that is true. But again, Week 1, really, a sleeper team isn't interesting for Week 1. At least in my opinion. I could be wrong. So it's going to be the 19th or the 20th. So it's a week later. And the reason why is because the broadcasting draft hasn't happened yet. Because they had to figure out the 5-game contract slate. So the network draft's going to happen this weekend or early next week, even though it was supposed to happen this week. So that's why the schedule got moved another week.
I'll tell you what, your road games are pretty interesting. You got the Broncos, the Raiders, us, Commanders, Packers, and Saints.
Yeah, I think Denver is a primetime game, and I think, if we're not counting NFC West opponents, which again are not eligible for Week 1 other than the Cardinals. If they put Cardinals Seahawks on Week 1, I will not do a show. But I think Denver's a great possibility. I think Philly's a great possibility. I think those are probably the only 2 that are not worthy. I think Denver. I think Thursday night makes sense for that. Just thinking logically and historically, but yeah, that's what I have. So yeah, the reason why the schedule is not coming out next week is because the broadcast draft hasn't happened yet, and it needs to happen in the next week. It should have happened this week, but it's happening next week. I just wish they would say something of they say coming in May. Okay, when in May? Give me a range so I know what the hell we're doing. Anyway, that's all I have on the NFL stuff. Sorry, Scoop. I yield my time.
Okay. So I got to go back and see what the actual question was that he asked. He said that he was asking what do you want or who do you want opening game of the season? And then Mr. Wiltsey said Denver first game should be the Bills Sunday Night Football. I don't hate that.
I don't hate that at all. If they can do that, yeah, I don't hate that at all.
It's not bad.
Yeah, because I'm looking at our opponents this year. So we just established that it wasn't going to be an NFC West team, and then which is unfortunate because San Francisco could have been interesting, but just kind of kicking it around a little bit. Man, it's because I also don't know like what all their intricacies are as to like how they're determining this. Obviously, if you want to go to a like an intrastate matchup, Steelers maybe could be a week one.
Yeah, but they usually don't put Eagles Steelers.
No, I know, but I'm just saying without the NFC East, and if you're like somebody like me who likes keeping the divisions later in the season, without the NFC West and the NFC East, like nothing else interests me all that much.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Well, I mean, yeah, the NFC West will always be interesting for us because of obviously given our history against the Rams, Seattle.
Yeah, but
wait,
Rob,
you guys want to play on CBS week 1? Gross.
The only games here that I think that would really interest viewers.
Just to say, I love CBS, but I hate interconference games on CBS because they don't do a good job.
Yeah. No. We've got. Let's see. I mean, yeah, the only game. Yeah. Well, I don't get me wrong. I like Eagles Panthers, and every time we do play, and every time we do
that was the one that I was thinking of as far as a home opponent was concerned.
Because because they always play us. The Panthers, for some reason, no matter how good or bad they are, always play us tough.
Yep. Houston, you've got D'Amico Ryans there. I know not that that's a huge storyline, but you know that for if they want to pump that up. I
think Jaguars could be interesting.
Yeah, I looked at the Jaguars too. What'd you say, boss?
Nobody look at Rays Red Sox right now. It's 5-3 Rays.
Ugh.
Why can't they leave, man? Why can't they leave?
Because they're literally just playing nothing but bottom feeder teams.
Yeah, no, they're playing Boston, who not only did they fire their manager, who I think was the last person that should have been a scapegoat, but now Roman Anthony's on the IL.
So they're gonna have Brandon hitting fourth, basically.
Hey, man, I'll be making money. That's fine by me.
I'll do it too.
But
Boston's got has to have a good healthcare plan.
But the hell was I going to say there? I short circuited. But
we were talking about Eagles' schedule.
No, I know. It's just so weird because everybody that I would have liked week 1 most interestingly is not an option.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm just thinking because of the immense amount of times that we keep swapping players with them and coaches, but the Colts at home kind of interests me.
Colts is interesting to me. Also because Jonathan Taylor is still there. I mean, it just sucks that they don't have much of a
Daniel Jones.
Yeah, well, I gotta see more from him. He's got to stay healthy.
True, but that's also the case for literally every player in football.
But for him last year, for how good of a year he had to have it cut short, I want to see more from him.
Yeah.
But also too, it'd be nice to see Daniel Jones again, obviously because former Giant. So that would be interesting.
And then having Coach Sirianni from the team from where we got him.
Yeah. And Steichen
for
that matter.
Wait, hang on. Did I just hang on?
I wonder if the AL West knows that they need to play baseball now.
Wait, hang on.
The Athletics are at the head of the division at 500.
Yeah, they are.
Okay. I don't want to ask a misguided question here. Why do we play the Bears but not play the Packers?
Because Bears are cool.
We've played them, I think, twice. We've played them.
That's due to the even and odd splits.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, that's due to the even and odd splits. Based
well.
on division, based on conference and interdivisional stuff. It's a huge math equation, but it's basically based on how you performed in your division relative to somebody else, and then
Okay.
that's why. So that is why you're.
Okay.
We've also played the
I'm
Packers
used to
twice.
in baseball. In baseball, I'm used to it just being you play this division and then you play that division.
But you know why they can't do that, right? Because it's 17 games, not 162.
Yeah.
They have to be very mathematical
And
about
not
what they do.
not
So,
for
yeah.
nothing, but we've played the Packers twice now in the last 2 years. We played them on opening
I know,
night,
but I just
and we
again,
played them
you think of
last year.
Coach Mannion coming over. That's just kind of where my thought was with that.
Yeah. Well,
I'm just trying to think of things that could be good storylines.
Remember, Steichen is still in Indy.
I know
So-
that's one reason why I said the Colts.
Yes, yeah, but that's like
I also looked for New Orleans, but I didn't see them on our list.
Yeah, they're not.
Guys, none of these games that you're mentioning are primetime. None of them. I'd be stunned. Week
We're
one
not-
primetime for any of these Eagles games sounds
Our
awful.
only primetime games this year will probably be just the division, and then B maybe like Eagles Steelers
But-
maybe.
And I think Kenny's right. I think the Texans is a great Monday night opponent.
that we always
think that's
play them on
probably
a
it.
month. That's
Yeah.
always that Eagles Texans is always a Monday Night Football game. It always has been.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I think it's a great Monday nighter. I think
And
it's a great late
It
season
is,
Monday
and
night.
it's also it'd be fun to watch two genuinely very good those are two of the top defenses last year.
Oh yeah.
And then you've got a quarterback that a lot of people don't like in CJ Stroud, and then you've got an offense that we'll be seeing for the first time, in its infancy in a new sort of format.
I was gonna say you've got two quarterbacks people don't like, but for different reasons.
Yeah, I almost went that route, and I kind of just shifted my train of thought along the way. He said, "You play the first place division. You play the first place division winner 6 against NFC division. AFC soy an extra game along the way." Yeah, I couldn't remember offhand exactly how all that was orchestrated because you see that graphic that they'll put out where it's like they'll have one like the AFC in one color, the NFC in another color, and like each team will have like a different shape, and it's like you look for the corresponding shape on the other side, and that's the team you play in another division, and it's like all teams in the same row in the same column and of the same shape, and I'm just like, who creates this?
To me, I'm like, I always forget that's how it's structured.
That's why the schedule czars are geniuses. They are geniuses. They are some of the smartest people in football.
Rob, at this point, just stay on the screen.
I'm sorry. You're talking about football. This is where listen, when it comes to the offseason, all I do is I watch football content to understand law, how scheduling works, how cap works. Is all I do.
I know. It's just I've watched you go in and out for the last
That's
3
what a
minutes.
producer's supposed to do. You're supposed to go in and out. You're not supposed to stay on screen.
Anyway, what just happened? Left.
That's what happened.
Did we cover everything about football that we intended to? Because I do want to get back to the baseball stuff that we started with. Not but
Yeah, we did.
but about the promotion happening today.
And I go,
Yeah, I think we. Yeah, I think.
yeah, Rob's giving us the all clear.
All right, cool.
Yeah, I think that's right.
So to kind of bring it back to the team being represented very well by the Roger Clemens jersey over there on our buddy Jay. The news came out today after what's happening? There we go. News came out today after the 9-2 victory over Texas by the batting order that Brandon so succinctly called our punt lineup that managed to win the game 9-2. Top prospect Spencer Jones, or at least longtime top prospects. He's fallen a little bit down boards over the last year or so, but Spencer Jones will be going to the major leagues, making his debut with the Yankees, hitting .258 this year with an OPS of .958, 11 homers, 7 stolen bases. And one number that I want to particularly highlight is in the first 8 games this season, his whiff rate, his swing and miss rate was over 50%. And ever since that 9th game onward, he has cut that in half. And I know that was a major reason why they kept him down the whole year last year. And I think that it timed so well for them that he has started to cut that down a little bit, that they were able to kind of time this in a way. Obviously, there's never a good time for a player to get hurt. And of course, as you see, those 4-3 strikeout games, of course, they all happened in my freaking hometown of Rochester, where I grew up. But all of that, and then eventually he got started to get that sorted out. And I think that timed very well for him to be the promotion, because on their, and again, they only had 38 players on their 40, so they could have added somebody to the 40-man roster if they so desired. But the three guys who were hitters or position players rather, on their 40-man roster were Anthony Volpe, which after you just said something a couple days ago about him not being ready yet, you would have had a lot of explaining to do if you suddenly called him up a couple days later. Oswaldo Cabrera, who has literally been the worst hitter in the International League this year, and Spencer Jones. So he really, I think from a lot of people, I remember telling you, Brandon, when we first found out Dominguez was going to the IL, I think we both agreed that Volpe Jones made the most sense here.
Yeah.
What do you think of the promotion? What do you think of him as a prospect, and how do you think he fits in with his current roster right now?
Yeah, I think that this is a promotion out of necessity because of Dominguez going down, and then obviously before that, before that, a few weeks ago they DFA'd Grichuk, so this was a promotion basically by necessity. I know Rosario could play the outfield, but that's not where you want him. So you need that.
Not
fourth
only that,
outfield.
but even if you did that, you still had a spot short on the active roster.
Yeah. So, I think that you need that fourth outfielder anyway. And especially as you're waiting for some guys to come back to round out your lineup as a whole. But it was just a matter of time. I mean, we just need to see what Jones has at this point, because there's just how much longer. I know they were talking about his whole strikeout rate and all this stuff and swings and misses, but at some point you have to see what you have in him. He's going to be 25 soon, so it's like Judge came up at 25 and they just let him figure it out, and then he eventually did, not eventually, he figured it out pretty quick, but it's almost the same thing with Jones.
Yeah, when he had that 50% strikeout rate in 2016, did you ever think we'd be 9-10 years later talking about perhaps the greatest right-handed hitter in Yankees history?
Yeah, no, or one of the greatest right-handed hitters ever.
Yeah.
No. So I it's crazy. When he came up, I didn't even know much about him. I remembered his name from the draft.
Yep.
And
that's where I was at.
Because he was one of the big names in his year's draft. But I was like, okay, I kind of just forgot about him. I was focused on I was just focused on the other, our current group of Yankees, and of course, Jeter's final year and all that stuff, and so I got swept up in all that I kind of just forgot about Aaron Judge after that, and I was like, okay, he's kind of up and down in the minors a little bit, and when he came up, and they're like, oh yeah, the Bay Bombers are making their debut. And they're hitting back to back in the lineup, and it was Judge and it was Tyler Austin. So, and what's funny was I think I knew more at that time. I think I knew more about Tyler Austin than I did about.
So did I.
So, and of course they go back to back, and then but what was crazy was like Tyler Austin was the better hitter the rest of the season, but Judge was, like he was batting 179 in those like 40 games he played.
Yep.
Okay, like maybe he is really just a power hitter and nothing else, and then he explodes in his rookie season, and it's like he had a lot of strikeouts, but he still batted 284. He still had an OPS, an insane OPS. Set the rookie home run record, which
50, I think it was 52 homers. I think
at the time, and then Alonso broke it with 53. I think like a year or two later,
something like that.
And then the rest is kind of history after that. Yeah. So like it's. With Jones, he's been touted as the lefty Judge, and that he's so big, he's arguably faster than Judge because he's a little skinnier.
Well, yeah, they never saw Judge as a potential long-term center fielder. They do think that Spencer Jones can man center field long-term.
Yeah, and I would love to see that's a lot of those are two big boys in the outfield playing together.
And can you imagine if ever for whatever reason they do put Stanton back out there in the outfield?
Oh my God! You've got 3 trees in the outfield.
Don't rush the mound on that day.
Oh, I mean, I'll never forget when Tyler Austin got beamed by Joe Kelly in Boston, and literally right after they started fighting, it was funny watching Judge and Stanton part the Red Sea.
Judge just effortlessly with one arm, just like moving the entire bench. Like time to clear the highway.
Like
6'8" Judge, and I think he was still there at the time. 6'8" Dylan Betances, and then you've got
my god, yeah,
scrawny little 5'9" Gardner in between them.
Yeah, you literally like you had a bunch of guys like both scrappy, pissed off veterans and just big ass dudes walking through the Red Sox thing. Like
it's like, all right, let's go, small people around me. Let's stop this.
Literally,
yeah, enough of this bull crap.
And
but like,
enough minions.
But it's funny though because like with Spencer Jones, with all the power that he's showed in the minors. And with all the quote unquote potential that we've seen out of him, it's like we just need to see what he can do because we said last year he would have been a good trade piece for something, and we've kind of said it this year that if you're not going to play him, that this if you're not going to bring him up,
I wonder if that becomes Dominguez now.
You know what? We alluded to that even last year. We said, hey, one of them has to go. Like, is it going to be Jones or is it going to be Dominguez? So. It just thinks that with them, if Jones takes this and runs with it, that it's gonna be Dominguez, just because off of injury history, not even just
right. And that's what sucks is just the fact that, I mean, I'm not sure I've heard of a position player prospect in the 15, 20 years I've been following the Yankee farm system, 15 years probably. I'm not sure I've heard of a position player prospect for whom they had more hype and they were touting more highly than they were Jason Dominguez. And I wouldn't even go so far as to say he hasn't put it all together because it's not like when he comes up and he hits, he's not a good hitter. It's just he can't get his position.
The outfield.
Yeah, he can't get the positioning in the outfield right. And it's just, and I've said it again, I think the team, and I agree with this, I think the team is just overlocking DH to one player because in a couple years, I don't think this is going to happen, but there's a chance that in a couple years they'll have to do that to keep Aaron Judge in the lineup.
Yeah. You're basically waiting till Stanton dries up completely, and then you're going to probably move Judge there. So like, I mean, I don't think they would. As long as Judge is healthy, I would still keep him in right.
Well, see, that's the thing is Stanton's still. Judge is still a top 2 or 3 outfielder in the game defensively. Yeah. And but insofar as what happens down the line, because that's the tough thing for Cashman and company is keeping one eye in front of you and one eye 15 yards down the way.
I guess the only way you could probably justify keeping Dominguez is you somehow get out of Stanton the rest of his deal because it's not.
Well, I will say I think this is Stanton's last year in New York.
Yeah, you could then at that point Dominguez would still be young enough. You could keep him if this is Stanton's last year, which it very well could be. That you could put Dominguez there then and still have his bat in the lineup, not have to worry about him in the field, but have his bat in the lineup where he can hit from either side of the plate. Or what I've heard people do is that after this year with Stanton gone, and then maybe you might need a new guy to back up Rice, teach Dominguez first, if possible. Which I don't know if they would do that, but I've heard that's just what I've heard. But
as long as you're mentioning teaching players or having players take reps at different places, I didn't think much of this at the time, and I'm still not thinking much of it now. Keep in mind they were working out Judge at third a little bit, and then. But also at the same time, I really hope while he's at Scranton, I really hope. Kenny, they did call up Spencer Jones.
Oh yeah, Kenny, they did call up Kenny. They called him up like immediately, like after Dominguez got hurt, after they got the word of his injury.
I was about to say, am I bugging?
Well, I know Kenny works on Thursdays. He just may not have seen it. So
yeah.
But yeah, like that's literally what we're talking about, Kenny, is the fact that Spencer Jones got the call today.
Yeah.
But yeah, and that's the thing. But going back to what I was about to say, at AAA, I really think they need to give Volpe reps at second.
Yeah, I think you're gonna have
Because
to. Because if Jazz doesn't pan out, you're not paying him. He's not coming back.
or even if he does, you move Jazz back to center. You put, because another name. I mean, because we can't forget about Bellinger and all this too.
Yeah.
So it's just you've got. I don't want to say necessarily an outfield logjam per se, but you've got too many players who play the same positions.
Yeah.
And I think also the other part of that being you got too many players who are better off as primary DHs. Like you can't have that. Kenny says at work, that's why you watch WTS. Yeah, Kenny, that's what I figured. It was just because you were at your shift, and I hope all's going well up there, brother. But I'm excited to see this. I am glad that they both waited till he got that thing cleaned up with his swing a little bit, because that was a big issue for him last year. Now, whether this is him fixing that or him just getting on a hot streak, we'll have to see. Because obviously you go from AAA to the majors. Typically, your swing, if you've got a swing and miss issue, typically it doesn't improve when you go to AAA to the majors. That being said, we've all seen the elephant in the room this year over in Chicago with Munetaka Murakami, who people, were looking at how much of a swing and miss issue he had against the Heat coming over from Japan. And I would argue that AAA, in a lot of ways, is a higher level of competition than Nippon professional baseball. From what I've seen, I think a lot of that. I think a lot of that is true. But even if you want to put them in a comparable conversation, which I don't think is unfair at all, then I still think that if somebody like a Murakami was able to literally beat, I feel like literally every night I'm getting an alert from ESPN Fantasy saying that he's hit another home run for my team.
Yeah.
And so if he's able to do that in his first 2 months over here stateside, then I'm willing to potentially have the open-mindedness to see if Spencer Jones can do it. Because, like you said earlier, it was going to have to happen at some point. You'd heard me say on this show multiple times that if it's not by opening day 2027, then what are we doing this for?
Exactly.
And, ultimately it turned out to not be that. It turned out to be May 8th, 2026. And I say May 8th because he's obviously not with the team yet. But you know what I really look forward to, though, is, and this, I'm always a sucker for these. I don't care if it's the Yankees or not. I can't wait for the person who puts up the closed circuit camera footage of him when he gets the announcement that he got the call up. Damn, those videos are some of
the best.
And especially for someone like him who's been waiting for a long time for this.
Been waiting for so long and who's been so highly touted for so long. Like this isn't somebody who just burst onto the scene in the last 6 to 9 months. Like this is this is somebody who, we've been hearing about. Ever since he was drafted. You said it earlier today. Ever since he was drafted, we heard, they want this guy to be the left-handed Aaron Judge. If he's 80% of Aaron Judge,
oh my God,
in the same lineup as Ben Rice and Aaron Judge himself, murderers row,
and a healthy Stanton, and a red hot belly.
Yeah,
oh Lord.
But anyway, obviously that's.
I can't even really pinpoint the worst hitter in our lineup right now. I honestly,
I still say it's Jazz Chisholm.
I still think it's Jazz. Yeah.
But at a point I would have said Caballero, but until he got,
I would have said McMahon up until the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, I was about to say McMahon, but McMahon's thawing out, and I think Jazz is also going to be thawing out pretty soon.
Yeah, it's
he's not doing 50-50, obviously.
The other guy you could potentially say there would be, Trent Grisham, but also, you guys know
But
catcher
those are some good problems to have.
But the only thing is the Trent Grisham thing. The numbers don't tell the whole story. Everybody's like, "Oh, his batting average is 160." I'm like, "Yeah, but he's walking a lot, and he's
right.
one of the
Well,
highest hitters in
I said
baseball
that,
this year."
and I said this to you, Brandon. I said his underlying numbers suggest that if anybody's going to break out of their recent struggles, it's probably him.
And look what happened today.
Yeah.
Three
Yeah.
hits, including the biggest hit of the damn game.
Yeah.
So,
And by the way,
Why
you
is
know,
Mr. Trent Grisham is hitting seventh for God knows what reason.
yeah.
That's
I'm just like somebody like that. I'm like, he's usually hitting 1 or he's hitting like 8 or 9. He's never hitting
Yeah.
like anywhere between 2 and 7. So I'm like, when I saw him at 7, I'm like, what the hell is he doing at 7th? Like,
Penny
and then,
says,
of course,
should the
here he
Yankees
goes,
try
3
to?
for 5.
Kenny said, should the Yankees try to trade Volpe? Absolutely not. And here's the reason why I say that. You don't sell low on a player like that. And I think that's where you'd be right now.
Yeah.
If he can get hot at AAA and somebody wants to capitalize on that, who has an injury in the middle infield or something, you're always taking calls, right? You're always taking calls. I'm not, in no way am I saying, you don't even pick up the phone. You're always taking calls, right? I don't see a legitimate trade that's going to be worth being made with him coming in without getting a chance to show that he's back to what he was a couple years ago, at least with the stolen bases and the defense. If I can get 20-20 out of this guy with solid defense and an OBP in the mid 300s, I'm chill with that. Excuse me.
Yeah.
I do agree with you. I do agree with you about.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. In fact, I'm not sure if you got to watch it, Brandon, or I'm sorry, we got to watch it, Jay. And I wasn't on that day, but day one of the draft. So I was at the theater, and Brandon and Rob were on, and then later Shane joined them on day one, and it was around pick 17 or 18. So it was before Philly had traded up with Dallas. And I texted Brandon because I had gotten from people down there that Philly had tried to trade up with 15 or 16, which was it was either that was the Jets and the Buccaneers, and basically we're told neither team would make the deal. And that's and then Brandon that's basically what he said is like, yeah, teams saw 2-1-5 and it was like, oh, okay, click.
Yeah, that's exactly what I said. I'm like, well, I even said on the show, I'm like, why the hell would you see 2-1-5 and even pick it up?
Yeah, and just what you said just then about Howie Roseman just made me think of how hard I laughed when I watched and you guys were saying that.
And the last important, because I guess it'll be the last kind of thing that we touch on tonight with Kenny's last comment here. Jazz is a seasonal hitter. Once the weather warms up, Jazz will as well. Well, guess what, Jazz? It's still cold in October. So
I was about to say, I'm like, unless we're playing in Florida and California, that might be
that might be a problem.
Because and Brandon and I went back and forth on that here a couple of weeks ago, because it might have actually been Jazz. But in somebody's context, it was brought up about, I think Jazz was the one who said, it's still cold and I can't really feel
he was.
Yeah. And again, regardless of who it was. And I'm sitting there thinking to myself, do you expect it to be 75 degrees and palm trees during the World Series, my brother?
I mean, in Los Angeles, maybe. Yeah.
But the only thing is, like, for a couple of those games, if they play the Dodgers, a couple of those games, or Atlanta, a couple of those games. But you still have to play the game in New York and the Bronx, where it's 40 degrees in October.
Yeah.
Like,
and where he has, by the way, performed even in October. But I mean, like, again, you guys know me as an ardent Jazz Chisholm defender. Still am, still will be. I was a Strowman defender before that. But the one concept that I have with people like that is that, if it's one thing to talk about that life, you got to be about that life, man.
Exactly.
I understand showing up and showing out. Listen, that's why I loved Josh Donaldson, but again, like you got to be about the life. Also,
that's
more than just
the name that I constantly, or the names that I constantly give you are guys like Reggie Jackson and Ricky Henderson. Nobody cared about how much they were puffing their chest out because they were backing it up every time they stepped on the field.
Yeah.
I would even throw Cam Schlittler into that mix.
Oh, hell yeah!
He's got a little bit of that swagger to him, but I mean, he's also
it's a good segue into what I was going to say overall about, and I'm going to make it brief to close this out. I'm like, I think right now, and you guys can tell me whether you agree or disagree with that, even with Elmer Rodriguez, was a little shaky in his second start. But with Spencer Jones, with how we are handling the Volpe situation, with Cam Schlittler, first of all, mana from heaven that we are actually developing good pitching at our minor league level and not just depending on trades for it or free agency for it. I feel like right now we're handling our system better. Like our minor league system better. We're not rushing up Spencer Jones because we saw what happened when we did that with Anthony Volpe. We're being smarter about our pitching. We realize that, Garrett Cole's come once in a lifetime, and we're probably not going to get Tarek Skubal, I would love, or Paul Skeens. So we need to develop. I want us to get smarter about that. I think we need to take a long, hard look, especially when it comes to defensive training down in our minor league system. I've long said, if we can fix our minor league system, that is the thing that will make Cashman say. Cashman is buying a lot of goodwill from me as a fan, for however much that matters.
Yeah,
because we are making the moves that we are right now. I think we're getting a lot better. I'm excited for the future. I'm excited for the current future. Maybe before we have this lockout, we can walk away with a chip.
I hope so. And for what you were saying, yes, I very much agree with you. And I think that in terms of the player development issues, and that was one of the things that I hammered on the most in the early episodes of not just this show, but going back to when I was part of the the weekly when the whole group was doing the K&K stuff back in 22 and 23, and that was one of the things that I was consistently complaining about was the fact that we didn't know, and we still don't really know whether it was the talent we were bringing in or how we were developing them from there, or a combination of both. I think that's probably the most likely of the three. But for whatever reason, and again, some prospects just don't work out. I understand that. But the fact that you were in a situation where almost every top prospect you had, going back to Brett Gardner, like going back to the days of the Killer Bees, basically, when you had Andrew Brackman and you had Manny Banuelos, who never remotely became what he was billed as. Even Dylan Betances, you could argue he was the most successful one, but he was as a reliever, not a starter as he was originally. We've all, each one of us has bitched about the Java Chamberlain fiasco. And just, I think going back from all of that and just kind of seeing how, even back to 2016, the trades that the Yankees made, trading Ivan Nova, trading Andrew Miller, trading Aroldis Chapman, excuse me. And the hauls that they got back from them and the kind of the key pieces of those deals. Clint Frazier did not work out. Justice Sheffield, I'll say did not work out with an asterisk because they traded him for James Paxton, and I thought that was a good deal.
I thought so.
That was just an unfortunate situation where he got brutally injured. But
I remember Justice Sheffield. I was praying for them to call him up because I was suffering with such brain.
So was I. I watched. I think I was at 2 of his starts in AAA, and he was like, one of them he was good. The other one he was kind of iffy. But just thinking back to everybody that we've seen on a top Yankees prospect list, going back to the Ian Clarkins, the Eric Jagilos, the Cito Culvers, who ironically was from Rochester, the Jesus Monteros, the Gary Sanchez's, and like the amount of guys that we just had at the top of Roderick Arias, I feel like I've seen on a top prospect list every year since I was 17. And I still don't know where the hell he is. Like it's, and again, I understand that the international free agents are a little bit more of a different animal because they're coming over at 15, 16. It's not like when they're being drafted at 21, 22. So I understand that. So I get that that's a little bit of a different situation. But it just felt like for the longest time, they were misfiring. They were just misfiring too much. And, Brandon and I, and I think Jay, you agreed with this too. I think we talked about, in retrospect, I think there's some people in New York who probably would have in 2023 sold off a little bit, trying to replenish that farm system and go back to a little bit more draft and develop in that, which that was the season that we only won 82 games. And kind of just acknowledge that, okay, let's turn some of our parts now into what we can use to have a better hope and a prayer of maximizing the rest of the tenure of our big guys like our Stanton, our Judge, our Cole. Because I don't think we had Rodon at the time.
No.
But if we did, it was his first season. But anyway, I'm just, so I very much agree with you is the short version of that, Jay. And I think that there's a great sign for the present day, because we talk about the future all the time, but for the present day with this team, their team's just acting with more, and I think this is a very overused word in sports, especially in baseball. I think they're just acting with more urgency this year. I think they're just acting with more urgency recently. I don't think in the past Randall Grichuk would have been let go when he was. I don't think in the past they're pulling up ERC, or I'm still used to calling him ERC, but Elmer Rodriguez, when they did, even though it was only briefly. We've seen that happen with prospects in the past, and they come back again later and they're much better. Yep. And frankly, I didn't think he was bad when he was up here for those couple games. I think that Mr. Wiltsey, thank you so much for staying on, and I hope you have a nice rest of your day. And get home safe.
Nice, Brad.
But so I'm enjoying seeing that. And it's so disorienting to me because I'm like, what timeline am I living in where I see the Yankees announcing moves on social media and all the fans are in the comments are happy?
Yeah.
I'm not used to that.
Are any of us?
Because in another like in recent history, I feel like something like today happens. They call up an Oswaldo Cabrera. They call up maybe an Anthony Volpe, or they call up another pitcher. I don't even know if they would have been allowed to. I don't know what the limit is, but they call up maybe another pitcher. I don't think that they go with Spencer Jones in this situation in past years. But I think that they have, and I think it's the right decision, and I'm really excited. I don't know if it'll be tomorrow that he gets in his first game, but man, am I really excited. This is one of the most excited I've been for a prospect in the last few years.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
By the way, Jay said don't look at the Red Sox Rays score. It is now 8-4 in favor of Tampa Bay. And the Flyers are down 2-1 to the Kings in the second period after they tied the game up.
I hate the Rays so much.
And this is actually, it's funny that you say that because I mentioned this to, I think it was Brendan. I think it was you, but I may be wrong. And we were talking about this recently, and I won't make this into a whole topic now. We'll save it for another time because we're already 2.5 hours in. But because you just said I hate the Tampa Bay Rays so much, and I'm just thinking to myself, quite honestly, the more I follow sports, I look at all the 29 other teams, or 31 depending on the league. I look at them all the same. I want to crush you no matter who you are. I don't care if you're Tampa. I don't care if you're Boston. I don't care if you're New York. I don't care if you're Houston. I don't care if you're San Diego. I don't care if you're Las Vegas. I want to crush you when I go out and play you. I do not care who you are. If you're not wearing pinstripes, I want you in the ground.
Yeah. Well, just simple way to put it. That's exactly how you should. That's exactly how the team looks at it. They don't like. Yeah, you've got your rivalries. You've got your Bostons and of course you got the Jays with how much Vladdy runs his mouth and stuff like that. But
that's the only thing about him that runs.
But that's at the same time, and the thing is, it's. There's the history between a lot of those teams there with with your divisions and whatnot. Yeah. But it's like just because it's division, it's like, okay, but they play the Rangers. They took 2 out of 3. You want to win the series. They play the Brewers starting tomorrow. You want to sweep them if you can, but win the series. It doesn't matter who gets put in front of you because guess what? And when it comes to the World Series, you're not playing your division anyway. So like, it's just I
And
really,
then in a lot of cases, even the league championship series is typically not from your same division.
yeah. So like, to me, it's like I still have a thing for rivalries, but at the same time, I'm just like, listen, if you're put in front of me, I want you to lose. Plain and simple. It's like,
Yeah.
it's like no matter what sport it is, like as Eagles fans, do we hate the Cowboys? Yeah. Do we hate the Giants? Yeah. Washington? Yeah. But when we're playing the Chiefs in the Super Bowl, I want to put them down.
Yeah, and that's the point that I was because like when I was younger, I was the type of guy who like if we just beat Boston or if we just beat not just, but you know what I mean. Like I like those games were like I saw them as quote unquote more important to win those games, or one thing or another. I don't know what, but it just in the last like 2 or 3 years, I'm just like screw it. Every team in front of me or every team I'm going up against is a rival, and I want to crush them.
Yeah. That's
It's
how
like that.
should
It's like that mentality that they talked about. I can't remember who it was who said it. Um, in fact, this is kind of funny. I can't remember who it was who actually said it, but it was also said by you guys follow Nikki Cass.
Yeah.
So he does. He's got a character that he does. Who's called Frankie Lip, and he's got a skit that he does where basically, being a pro athlete in whatever sport, and I think it was football. Yeah, it must have been football because of what he said. And the quote unquote coach in the skit goes, hey, this isn't the Super Bowl, take it easy. And Frankie says, Coach, everything is the Super Bowl. And and that's kind of similar. That just came back to my mind with what we were talking about just there.
Yeah. It's accurate.
With
Right.
that, Jay, thank you so much for jumping back in with us this evening.
Let me thank you guys, and thanks to the lovely audience that I've come to know and love. Like I want to come back on every now and again. I'm also hoping to like pivot to a career that is more conducive to that, especially. But for now, I've just enjoyed the time coming back on, and honestly, couldn't imagine a better place to be on a Thursday evening.
And I'm so grateful that you were. And again, there was just perfect timing. I think. I mean, it's always a good time to bring you back on. But I think just with the opportunity to honor, John Sterling, and then of course today the sort of the doubling down by having the promotion of Spencer Jones. I think that
once I saw that and you offered me to come on, I had to.
Yeah, and I was really excited that you got to come back on, and obviously you had a lot of people who were very excited to see you as well. If you've got any final thoughts on anything that we covered or anything you just want to say, the floor is yours, my brother.
I mean, listen, more so than just like the good timing, I think all of us, first of all, have done a lot of honor to the great John Sterling. We have our show. Obviously, none of the three of us will ever hold a candle to his fame, not now at least. But honestly, if there's one thing I know about at least the bit of broadcasting that I have in my family is that it's all in the timing. And we've had ourselves a good time here, folks. Thanks again, guys.
Thank you so much, brother. And again, perfectly said as usual. And we look forward to having you back on soon, whenever that ends up being. And looking forward to seeing where things go from here for sports and otherwise. But we'll have you back on again very soon. Brandon, over to you, buddy.
It's amazing how after how many months away or so that you've been away, Jay, but it's like when you come back on, it's like riding a bike. You don't forget how to do it.
Oh yeah.
So it's just great to kind of have the three of us back here together again.
Yes.
And I just love that we had and it's just crazy because some shows I remember that we did that we didn't have much to talk about, but we always found a way to kind of make things stretch.
Yeah, last night you said we'll try and find more topics for tomorrow, and we're here almost 2.5, almost 3 hours.
Because more stuff kind of just gets packed in. The more you think about it throughout a day, the more things you kind of think about that are going on in the sports world. I couldn't think about it last night. I was exhausted, but today,
it was 2 a.m.
Yeah, but so
where you are.
Yeah, but I'm glad that we covered a lot today. We got everything kind of in that we wanted to,
Yes.
and we kind of did everything. I think we did everything justice today. I mean, it's a little bit longer than we usually do, but that's also what happens when you're bringing back an old friend. So
Absolutely. And
that's important.
and again, I mean, we had a good number of people on right up till the very end. So
Yep,
it was clearly a an extra little bit of time that was multiple times over worth spent.
absolutely.
Yeah, man, to that.
And with that, all right, at the end of this evening on May 7th, 2026, episode 112 of What's the Scoop. Thank you, Jay. Thank you, Brandon. And thank you behind the scenes to our buddy Robert. And of course, to all the awesome people who joined in tonight, both familiar faces and some new individuals at the same time. So grateful that everybody tuned in and hope you enjoyed everything for the whole duration of the show. And of course, one more time, say rest in peace to Mr. Sterling. Thank you for decades of memories that will be living on far, far into the future and are forever woven into the fabric of what it means to be a New York Yankee and a New York Yankee fan.
Amen.
With that, I'll see y'all next week. Same scoop time, same scoop channel on May 14th, 2026, next Thursday. Until then, same scoop time, same scoop channel. For now, Scoop, Brandon, and our buddy Jay out.